Living alive. Let's see if this works. I'm not actually sure. Oh, I think it is. Hooray. Now the question is, if I pop out this chat, it's on the monitor across the room, but if I pop it out and I make it a real big screen, and I can I do the control up thing? Oh man. Nuts. Okay. So reading the chat's gonna be interesting. There's a thing in here, right? Live. Right? Show me everything. Good. Yes, show me everything. Peekaboo. Hi. Woog Ha and Leno Joe 87. Hello, you're the first two humans I've seen. PidZX2, hola! You're human number 3. Let's try a thing. Hey yo, Joshua Zhang. The crux of this, by the way, can you all see the title of the stream? I never know if stream titles carry in. It says Boostershred Shtream is what it should be saying. Originally it had some leftover. I forgot there was a stream I was gonna do and I never did it. I still should do it before the end of the year. I was gonna watch old videos and talk over them. But this is different. I'm gonna go plug this. Hey, here's another one. I'm over by my computer now. Can you still hear me? Do I still sound like normal? Obviously I'm pointed now. I'm like not facing the camera or the phone, you know. I'm not right next to it, but can you still hear me over here? If you can, say Transformers TCG Finance. Alright, gonna shred some boosters and stream it with my phone is spelt with PH and not an F. Join the randomized cardboard tweet. Oh boy, okay. Yes, Jipe. So when I'm over here, I'm over at my actual computer. And I was hoping I wouldn't just be like completely gone. But now I'm gonna come back over here. This is my phone basically on a ball socket connection to a slidey connection to an articulated arm that's then clamped to my table. The reason I'm using the phone is the phone has like the app for YouTube has kind of like some automatic stuff in it, and I thought, hey, I should maybe use that. That's my smart person reason. My dumb person reason is I don't know where I put my webcam. I actually don't know. But while I was looking for it, I finally found my little purse of travel electronics and my Nintendo Switch that I've been missing since 2 months ago. So I'm doing well. Doing good. I can hear myself out of my speakers. I thought I turned the speakers off. I just turned them down. I'm so loud that at 0 volume I can still hear me. I'm gonna just, physically turn them off. There we go. Then you don't hear a quiet me lagged over on the side. Anyway, this is otherwise the filming table. There's like the things. Okay, you lose a Switch when you take it to VC in a carry case. You get back, and then you kind of fall down a personal spiral, and you put some stuff on top of it, and the purse with your electronics and your little tablet thing, and you don't actually think of using them until a month later, and then you realize, wait a second, the Switch isn't in the dock. Oh no. And then I was like, well, the worst thing that could happen is I left it in Victoria, but I didn't. I just found it. So go me. I also don't play my Switch very much yet. That's my other problem. Anyway, what we're doing here. So, I got this today in the mail. I'm in Canada, but I didn't get this out of Canada. I got it from Malaysia. And yes, Terrence Williams. It did just click. Also, I think I turned on the thing so there's chat replay, but I guess we'll find out. Is there a better button I can check? Let me go look. Just while we're in this, like, pre-stream, mess. Let me go to my, Creator Studio live streaming. Oh, wait, it's under videos now? Oh, no, wait, that's the... So I also started the stream about 20 minutes ago, and I was like, why isn't anyone showing up? I guess everyone does hate me. And then I realized that on the phone, when it says streaming to unlisted, I thought that's where the archive would go. It turns out the stream was also unlisted. Oh, wow, there's like my other stream I didn't do is like another tab up here. Okay. Interesting. Okay, there's got to be a button in here that says, don't kill the chat. Is there... I haven't streamed in a while. I don't know if you can tell. Live control room. What's that? Okay. Enable live chat. We don't need slow mode. Okay. Well, I'm going to assume it's going to save the chat. I don't like it when chat doesn't get saved, even though that means if people are garbage in chat and that gets saved too, like, I guess that's the downside, but to me, chat's like part of the experience. I don't know. Victor Maldonado, obviously this is a card game channel. Have you not been looking at the last 2 years of content? Yes, Terrence Williams, like we're back on Ustream. Hooah. Grimlockamus! Okay, Grimlockamus is the best. Grimlockamus filled out a ton of my missing battle cards at TFCon Chicago. Grimlockamus, the champ. Alright, also, I'm not sure precisely what the chat lag is, but, you know, it's probably some kind of lag. So, if I am responding with some kind of delay, best assumption is that that's what's up. There's all this stuff you can do now. You can... you can insert slates as though I'm that organized. I can look at the live analytics. That's for when you get, like, your staff of 18 people. Shadow Vaporeon, I want to review everything. Generally, the plan is I want to review everything, but I don't make plans because I always screw those up, so I kind of just roll with what I want to do. Right now, oh, no, I put them all together. I still want to finish the Fans Toys Mind Wipe thing, because I want to give that thing back. And I realized part of the reason I hated getting that video done is I don't like that toy very much, but I don't like a lot of Fans Toys. It's weird. It's not even that the thing was... It's not even the thing that was... It's not hard to transform. It's easy to transform, but the transformation still sucks. I don't know how to put that any differently. Anyway, I filmed the transformation the other day. That's what I did. Anyway, I think we're good to go. And so, I filmed this thing... and opening a booster pack without any talking with my nice camera for in case I decide to go... when I was in the shower, I was like, I should review the card game. You know, one of those shower ideas. So I got the B-roll I would need before shredding this up. But it means I did open one pack, so the character was the common Megatron. And then the rare battle card was Shock Absorbers, which I have like 7 copies of now, and I don't know why. My uncommons were Debilitating Crystal and Equipment Enthusiasts. And then my commons were, Ye Old Drill Arms, Ye Old Flamethrower, Improvised Shield, and the staple card of the game, Rapid Conversion. Anyway, I don't hate Fans Toys Dracula. It's just like the way that it's middling irritates me when I realize it doesn't cost $80, it costs $190, you know, speaking of Canadian. MMC Stealth Azalea is the review I actually want to do. Because... this! Whoa, I almost knocked my camera, not my camera, my light over. This is a good toy. I like this. The transformation's good. I handled a Fans Toys RC, and that thing almost had a good, what did I send the wrong link on Twitter? Hang on. What link did I twit? I thought I did the live. I might have, did I do, like, the control room? I have no idea what link to tweet then. Yeah, that tweeted the old one. Alright, hang on. Let me fix this. I'll get back to that point I was making in a second. I assure you. What did it make the URL for this then? Because I'm seeing it as Vangelis/live. Whatever. I'll figure this out. We always figure it out. Because, yeah, the URL I'm at is the one I tweeted. Man. Alright, what about this? I'll do a, what do you call it, incognito window, see if it opens as one of those. Okay. I think that's the... Okay, I'm going to try this. I'm going to go on Twitter, I'm going to tweet this, and I'm going to go look at my Twitter feed. You should go directly to my Twitter feed, because I also have a really nice banner on my Twitter feed now. I finally settled on a really solid banner image for twitter.com/evangelist. There we go, that's working. Right, I'm gonna look at the chat here for a second. What did I miss? Graham, it held that thing about my banner for review. I'll show it. Click. Alright. Yeah, the view remembering things that stream I meant to do and I just sort of forgot about. Let's see. Do I think this will overtake the fandom the way Yu-Gi-Oh's anime, etc.? No, I don't think so. I think it's a very good game, though. I think if they're doing Studio Series Devastator, officially everything's on the table. To answer the question of whether they will do Onslaught. Also, they're doing Long Haul. I'm over here now, but you can see... They're doing Long Haul. Long Haul is almost Onslaught. Did I get any of the BotBots toys? No, I didn't know they were out. I don't want to order any of them online. I want to find them. Those are perfect toys for me to find in person. Alright, now we're going to get to this. So... Which side did I... I'll pull from this side. The one thing is fun. I don't know if any of you have not seen these yet. In Canada, these are still not out due to reasons. So for Canadians, this might still be novel. In the States and everywhere else, you might have already bought a bunch. I saw someone in the chat said they already bought like 5. But I love how comically large these are because of the character cardboard chunks. Which, by the way, these are really good pieces of card. I haven't thrown any away yet. I have a big stack of them because they feel too nice to get rid of. But I don't know what to do with them. I like how comically big this is. It's just like, it's like, the way I describe it, this is like a prop in a movie where I've started shrinking, but I haven't fully shrunk yet. So this is when, like, I have giant knives and forks, or I pick up this pack of cards, and this is huge pack of cards, but it's not, like, huge. It's just big enough for me to go, like, wait, am I shrinking? And then my voice is going up, and, anyway, I like these things. So, let's see what I got. I was going to shred these anyway, and I did my last booster box in isolation, and I was, you know, zen, but I figured I have a YouTube channel. Let's YouTube it a bit. So who's our character? Starscream, common. So I have the common Megatron, the common Starscream, and then the battle cards. One of them Scrapper Gauntlets. By the way, for better or for worse, the price of the booster packs, I think, is probably nearly $1 up due to all the extra packaging necessary for all that stuff. So Scrapper Gauntlets, Zap. Armored Plating and Handheld Blaster are the commons. Zap, I've grown fond of. I know Plasma Burst is pretty cool, doing 2 damage, but, like, I haven't built a deck where I feel okay about having non-pip cards unless they're really necessary, so I've been avoiding it when I can. It's part of why I want Start Your Engines, which is not what this is. As Salvage for Parts, it's a non-pip rare. This is for an upgrade deck, and I haven't tried making one of them yet. The thing I like about this is it's called Salvage for Parts, and this is Prowl and Chrome Dome doing an autopsy on a murder victim out of, I think it's out of Chaos Theory. So this is morbid in a way I enjoyed. I'm just going to put this... I have little stacks going here of the rarities, so I can alphabetize them later. Speaking of Plasma Burst, what's up Plasma Burst and Body Armor? Alright. I'm going to try... This phone chat is not as cool as looking over at the big chat. But my neck hurts if I look over here. Yeah. Everything's a mess. So let's do one more of these and I'll get a better look at the chat. Make business cards out of these. So you know what some people have done out of these things? Because character cards don't ever get shuffled, right? You can just draw a character card's info on here and it's about the same size if you want to get proxying. I saw that on Reddit and I thought it was quite cute. So, we have us, an Autobot Hound. This one's a bittersweet dupe for me to get, because this is one of the ones that Aaron sent to me with the starter set back from Gen Con, when they were handing out commons. So now whenever I get Hound or Flame War, I'm like, I could have had one less of you. Nonetheless, it's still pretty fun having a stack of those things. And our battle cards, starting with Scrapper Gauntlet. By the way, I have a deranged plan that makes me okay with lots of dupes. I'm ripping it off from Aaron. I wanted playsets of everything, And then I was like, wait, I want to make I want to be able to make 2 decks unfettered. So now I want 2 playsets of everything. I got a feeling if stuff starts happening, I'm just going to end up being like, you know what? I should have 3 playsets of everything so I can have 3 unfettered decks at the same time. You can make like 2 decks out of 1 playset technically. It's not too hard, but my brain's good at making up reasons to have too many things. Scrapper Gauntlet, Zap, Ready for Action, and Repair Bay are the commons. One Shall Stand, One Shall Fall is the rare. I think I needed one of those. I like this card because I like gambly cards where it's like I gotta take some, but I'm gonna give some. And then we got Crushing Treads and Multi-Tool. Multi-tool specialist stuff I'm starting to get into. Deck building for this game I am finding extremely fun. Partly because there's a limited pool of cards, but also partly because like a lot of the staple cards you want in a lot of decks are not rare. The rares are all the more specialized cards for tribals or for certain characters or situations. I don't know, it makes deck building kind of, for me, kind of fun. So who are you? Mirage! First uncommon. Mirage this is someone I want to try doing a deck for with this, like, try to flip at least 3 whites, 3 white pips, because trying to flip certain combos of pips, there's a few cards that do that, and that seems like a really interesting thing to set up. Logic-wise, something I'm trying to get used to with the game, or have been getting used to, is how your deck cycles, so the ratio side of it doesn't work quite the same as with, like, your Magic the Gathering, where it's like, once you go through your deck, it's gone. It's like, in this game, you're going to go through your deck at least once or twice in any given game. Datapad, Primary Leisure, Scrapper Gauntlet, Supercharge, speaking of going through your deck. So when you're building a deck, it's kind of like, you don't have to worry about whether you did it perfectly, because it'll cycle back around a few times. What's our rare? Energon Axe, I needed one of these. That's a playset finished. Congrats, me. Plasma Burst and Grenade Launcher are uncommons. Grenade Launcher is one of those put it in every deck till you figure out what you want to do kind of cards. I'm going to go back here, check the chat for a second. Grab me a glass. Profesh Andrew. Okay, I mix up Shadow... That was from Shadowplay, salvage parts. I mix up Shadowplay and Chaos Theory constantly because I basically read them back to back. And I'm really bad at remembering which one is which. Also... You ever drink a sip of your drink, and then just as you finish swallowing, you're like, all right, time to inhale to talk. But it turns out you were like a split second from finishing swallowing? It's a good thing Coke Zero is good for your esophagus. That Mastermind Creations exclusive was referencing Zengar Zonvault. Question I saw in the chat. Is that art of MMC Calidus? Where? I don't know anymore what that's in reference to. Oh, is Grimlockamus, you want to know about double sleeving? So, I will demonstrate double sleeving once we're through a good chunk of these, because, you know, maybe people haven't seen it. A second to last card. You mean Plasma Burst? No, that's what's his name? Drift's old boss. Not Vanquish. I always forget his name in the moment when I'm talking to people. But, you know, Drift's old boss. Crap. Someone in the chat knows it. Turmoil! Thank you, Grimlockamus. Turmoil is like a word that is anathema to my memory. I just never remember it when it comes up. I'm like, yeah, his boss. Vindiclash. Alright. But yeah, all these battle cards are right out of the IDW comics for the most part. Mostly internal panels, a couple covers, I believe. Thank you, Profesh Andrew. I'm not the only brain fart. Anyway, who's our character? The Common Optimus Prime. This is a cool card when you have a bunch of other cards to go with it. I appreciate that they made Optimus Megatron in common forms, because it's like, for a common, right? He's a 12-star. He's pretty big, but he's a big character. You flip to this mode, repair your Autobots. One from each. In robot mode, he does extra attacking stuff. He's got a big HP. It's kind of like, if you're new to the game, you pull this, which you probably will. You've probably got the starter, which is full of Autobots. Just, you know, fill up a team. This guy can heal the team. I don't know. It seems like a friendly intro kind of Optimus. By the way, if you're curious about WotC foiling, I have already noticed this stack of character cards is getting, in an odd way, a little bit uneven. You ever want to read up on a bunch of people complaining about something that's maybe not that big a deal, but is enough of a big deal to like really get in people's nerves? Read up on foiling. Never quite works out, unfortunately. Alright, let's see what these are. J like Clockwork, first card you pulled. What's this game comparable to? Okay, so this game, I've heard this game is a lot like, hopefully I'm not mixing up this name. I'd swear I've heard people say this game resembles Cardfight Vanguard. The game is it's team-oriented, with a 40-card deck that, you know, cycles through. And there is another game it's relevant to that I heard a Deck Tech video reference. But I apologize, I actually don't, I got back into tabletoping in, like, April. So, I'm not really sure. Commons are Drill Arms, Battle Ready, good old Rapid Conversion, and Zap. Rapid Conversion, I almost want to just have infinite playsets of, because, like, I need this card in literally every single deck right now. Our rare is Swap Parts! I might have needed one of these. Also, Swap Parts. Again, Swap Parts. He's not going to swap. That's Tailgate's hoverboard. He's First Aid isn't going like, you want to give me your hoverboard for this thing? That's not it. That's not what's happening. Although I appreciate that at a glance that could be what's up. And then our uncommons are Turbo Boosters, that's a good one, and Backup Plan, which I need to use more. I've heard good things about this one. Seems like Chaotic, says Profesh Andrew. I don't know Chaotic very well, unfortunately. Basically, here's my card game knowledge. I know Magic. Oddly, I know Warhammer Age of Sigmar Champions. I want to know Netrunner. I'm shredding this, by the way. And there's Transformers TCG. And then that's about it. There's a couple other ones that I'm planning to try to get into. Mostly I got to make time to play them. I just like the way they look. What is it? Ashes Rise of the Phoenixborn seems really cool. What else seems really cool is, what do I got here? Ooh, okay. Scrapnel is one of the rares in the box. The boxes tend to have usually 2 to 3 rares, sometimes 0 to 2, sometimes 4. So this is one of the rares. This was actually the first rare I ever pulled, so I now have a dupe rare. Congratulations to me. Crater 45, this stream should be going up as a video afterwards. I resisted doing the thing where I would, like, set up my good camera and film while streaming and then go, like, I'm gonna go edit the good camera version. What if we just roll with the stream, suckers? Alright, actually, while I'm here, why don't, well, I'll go through this first, and then because this is a rare, even though I already have it, when I've had it, I have one other dupe rare, and I'm putting them into nice sleeves just to hang on to them for when I want to, like, either trade them or sell them on the bay. I'll show you how I double sleeve my character cards, so you can all vomit. So I'll put him over here, in this special place. Let's get this open. Fish Formers, I believe that was you. It's good to see you on the stream. We had some nice Twitter chatting the other day. You wait until it came out in Canada. I bought one of these. How do I put this? I bought one of these back when I tweeted those photos, and I bought some more in Chicago, and then I saw an auction go up out of Malaysia where it was still just cheap enough that I decided to do it. Right after I bought one, the auction went down and then went back up for $10 American more, so I won. Also, I grabbed these for a reason, but I can't discuss that quite yet. So, commons are Piercing Blaster, Improvist Shield, Inspire and Leadership, and everyone's favorite character, Brainstorm. And our rare is the bigger they are. I kind of like this, although right now, the current card pool, it's a little bit too specialized, unless you're running one of the 5 stars, but I think once we go into having more smaller characters, this will be more of like a definite thing that will work for you. And our uncommons are Treasure Hunt and Multi-Mission Gear. Alright, I'm going to double sleeve a thing. I got my big old kit back here. I just got to get stuff out. Hang on a second. Pop this open. The character cards are plain chase card size, same as the commander cards. It's that 3.5 by 5 dimension, for which I have a whole bunch of things what you can sleeve them with. We're gonna triple sleeve this character card, kid. All right. Lorenz Retiro. Combiners are not in the game yet, so we're not quite sure how they're going to work. But, alright, here's how we do this. So first we got our precise fits, right? These are the ones that hug the card, and they provide that kind of watertight feel. So we pull one of these out. Now when you're double sleeving, the first thing you do when you're double sleeving, you take your precise fit and you go top down on the card. This will be tight, but worth it. Because, oh yeah, just slip it on there. Now, there's, you know, a gap down here, but the rest of this is all in the... Alright, so that's one thing. But now, we got these. These are from Mayday sleeves. These are the ones for Tiny Epic Kingdoms. These are more like... These aren't quite like penny sleeves. These are slightly more penny sleeve-y. I have a little thing of like the premium versions that are a bit more like those harder plastic ones to try them out, but this actually works really well with the precise fits, because now, slit is down here on the precise fit, slit is at the top of the Mayday, we slide this in. Ah, yeah. Now we're double sleeving, alright? So now what we've done is create at least a semblance of a watertight seal, so if you're playing Transformers TCG and your friend spills his Energon all over your cards like some kind of freak, then your card will be safe. However, what if you also want to be able to hurt people with your card and maybe triple sleeve it? Alright, here we go. Get it into one of these top loaders. And this is the tricky part, because you don't want the sliding in process to unsleeve any of the sleeves inside the sleeve. But now, we have triple sleeved. Oh god, I can feel the air bubble in here somewhere. There's an air bubble in here somewhere. Where is it? I gotta squeeze it out. Ah! Okay. Now we have triple sleeved this card. It is indestructible. Gonna sell this one on eBay for top money. Hey, let's get back in there. There we go. We did it. Now, the next thing I need to find is some binder. There's binder pages that I have that hold 4 of these per page. Double sleeved in small sleeves, they can go in. But I need to find pages that can hold these top loaders, slightly wider ones, so that I can put these in and quadruple sleeve them, and then we laminate the page, and it's quintuple sleeved. Yeah. All right, let's get another one of these up. Jeff, yes, the precise fits, the first layer, are those ones I'd given you a few of way back when we were doing the thing with the starters. Yeah, slice! All right. That's the front. I watched all those friggin' Magic the Gathering opening $1,000 boosters from 20 years ago videos. I know you're supposed to, like, reveal the cool card. All right, so, character card is Deadlock. This is weird. 2 things. Actually 3 things. A, it's pretty cool that, like, such a comics-oriented character is in Wave 1. B, it's weird that Deadlock is in Wave 1 and Drift is not. C, unfortunately, Deadlock kind of sucks. He's an uncommon, he's, like, okay, but no ability in robot mode. Really cool-looking vehicle mode. It's an okay vehicle mode, but then he's got this ability. When you flip to this mode, choose an enemy. If the enemy is KO'd this turn, draw 2 cards. So it's like you pick a target, you get to draw some card advantage, but, like, to set this up is so, to me, ridiculously specific for the sake of drawing 2 cards. Having an entire character dedicated to it is extremely hard to justify, in my opinion. Alright. So, I missed a whole bunch of chat. The problem is, this phone only shows me, like, maybe 2 people's chat lines for about a half second. And, like... Hang on, I'm gonna go over here. I saw something I wanted to reply to. Okay, we gotta go more sleeves. Quad sleeving when I can, baby. When I can. There was something in here that I saw. What's the brand and price for all the different sleeves? I got a lot of this info off of the Reddit, but I will do another run through of what the sleeves are. Remind me to at the end. Question from Aaron Uttinger: is it a fun card game? In my opinion, it's a super fun card game. I really like it. That's the thing that I'm really still surprised by, is that this is like a really good collectible card game. And And the thing I think they did, commons, new design, reinforced plating, leap into battle, medic, rare is Ion Blaster of Optimus Prime. I believe this finishes a playset for me. Uncommons are ramming speed and disruptive entrance, this is from my Shadowplay deck. I like this card. The thing that surprises me about this game constantly is how, like, the game's actually good. And, like, there's a lot of times where this game could have been worse for the sake of the franchise. And instead, decisions were made to make the game good first, and then support those decisions with the franchise. I'm going to ramble a bit, so I might not, like, verbalize everything I'm pulling in here, unless it really catches my interest, but I want to make my point. For instance, in this game, it doesn't matter what faction your characters are. You just have to have up to 25 stars of characters, including Dinobot Swoop. For a second, I saw the palette. I was like, Grimlock? But no. So you can have, like, Autobots and Decepticons on the same team. And one would assume, oh, it's got to be faction split. But instead, they were like, what if we just make all the characters usable with each other, and then if you, the player, want to faction split them, you're welcome to. A lot of the different tribals are very faction-heavy in one direction or the other. But this way, the game just lets you have more options. Another thing is, let me just grab that common Optimus. So there's this thing called bold, right? Where it's bold a number. When you attack, you flip over 2 cards off your deck to add the pips that are up there, and if they're orange, not like this, they boost your attack, 1 for each orange pip. Bold lets you flip more of those cards by whatever the number is. If you get effects and equipment that has bigger bold than 2, there are games where you might think it's like, pick the highest bold and you go with that. In this game, you actually just stack it. Everything in this game is highly literal. So like the Dinobot deck, the kind of classic one for a game that's a month and a half old, is sort of based on stack tons of bold. So you have someone swinging in with like bold 15, and instead of flipping 2 cards over, you're flipping like a quarter of your deck over on each attack. And it gets kind of kooky with the damage, like this game called Star Realms that I really like. So, I think it's a good game. That and, like, a lot of the staple battle cards, these things, the ones that you would want in most any deck, are commons. You're very rarely going to be chasing rares unless you want something for a certain tribal. In my case, I am chasing a rare, not Agility of Bumblebee. I'm chasing Start Your Engines. It's like one of the, like, eminent Cars deck cards, and I don't have any. I do have these ones. I like Armed Hovercraft a lot. I have tried, this is good for planes. Planes are really interesting, because a lot of the kind of theory on a planes deck is dealing indirect damage, not through actual attacks, but through things that happen aside from attacking. Because when you deal damage outside of an attack, the opponent can't actually defend against it, but it's usually like plink, pink, plink kind of damage. So with planes, you're just like kind of hurling pebbles at the opponent, but lots of them. And it's kind of cool. Who are you? All right, it's the uncommon Starscream. Wait a second. Is that? I already forgot what I got. Oh, yeah, okay. So, check it out. Speaking of planes, you could have given me Thundercracker. That's actually one I'm really looking for. But, thanks, Booster Box. There you go. There's the Starscream content. One of the neat things about planes is that the classic planes, the ones that y'all think of from cartoons and not Sunstorm or Slipstream, are all commons and uncommons. So if you want to build, like, planes and you don't want to chase after the rare ones, you still have a lot of characters that you know, quote-unquote, know and love. Planes are, I guess, a little burn-ish. But like, so common Starscream's kind of a basic character. He's got tough and bold, which are the same effect, but bold is for attack, tough is for defense. What uncommon Starscream has, he's got bold too, so you've already seen that. But over here, when you flip to this mode, you do damage to an enemy equal to the number of other planes you have. So the thing about that is you do need to have them as planes. So if he's a robot, notice he's not a plane anymore. So you want to get all your team to be planes, flip him to plane mode, and if you have a team of like 3 planes, you're just putting 3 damage on someone now, and that's that. So it's I don't know. Planes are fun. I played planes once at TFCon, and granted I used Slipstream, who's got a pretty ridiculous ability, but oh yeah, it is, aside from Slipstream and Sunstorm, it is pretty easy to get all the jets. Like Ramjet, Starscream, Thundercracker, and Skywarp are all commons and uncommons. I feel like I was making another point, but now I can't remember. Yeah, the rare versions of characters, they're straight up just different cards, basically. Actually, I can show you, because we got Common Optimus here, right? Where are you? I was going to grab something from my binder. I was like, if I want a binder with pages and not one of those ones with stuff in it, what binder do I get? So I just straight up was like, I'm going to go, because this is how I make all my hardware decisions for cards, go find Tolarian Community College and see what binder the professor dude uses that isn't one of those folios, and so I got one of those casets. So this is Rare Optimus, right? And then this is Common Optimus. There's also Starter Deck Optimus. Those are three... You know what? Hang on. Those are three different cards. I want to make my point here. There aren't many characters. I think only Optimus and Bumblebee have 3 different characters, including the starter. Most of... Like, Megatron has 2. Starscream has 2. There aren't a lot of characters who are multiples in this. Like, it's Starscream, Bumblebee, Megatron, and Optimus. I think those are the only ones. But... You've got your... So here's Starter Deck Optimus, right? Here's Common Wave 1 Optimus, and here's Rare Optimus. These are 3 completely different characters. So, like, Starter Deck Optimus is a 7-star character, and they've all got, these two have got Bold in robot mode. This guy's got a whole thing. This guy is literally, like, you build a certain deck for this card, basically. But these two have, like, you know, Bold in robot mode. The common one from the boosters, when you flip into this mode, repair 1 from each Autobot. This guy, when you flip to this mode, draw a card. And he's also slightly weaker, but he's also way cheaper to run, so you can run a bigger team with this guy. So, like, you know, star values-wise, you can see they're all a little bit different. Granted, Rare and Common Optimus are, like, 1 star apart. These two are designed in a way, you can run a team that is just these two, because their star values add up to 25. And I was going to do that until I realized I could run Shadow Play, and I preferred to do that. But, yeah, that's kind of how all that stuff works. I'm going to put this guy back in my binder, so I don't forget him. Anyway, where was I? I was going to flip through these. These are my commons: Armor Plating, Incoming Transmission, Zap, Leap into Battle, Dino Chomp! That's one of the Dinobot cards. Oh, this makes my point. So, like, the Dinobot cards, there's only, like, 2 of them. But, like, you see... Scrap your hand till the end of turn. One of your Dinobots gets Bold 5. So scrap your hand so you can't, like, have, you know, multiple things in your hand at once and, like, pile them out with a Brainstorm or something, I guess. Well, actually, if you played Flamethrower, give him, like, Bold 2, you put down Brainstorm to play 2 more actions, you play something with, like, Supercharge, and then this, you've added Bold to 10, basically, till end of turn. Yeah! Alright, I want to do that now. Anyway, Strafing Run, this is totally a Plains card. This isn't Plains specific, but, like, here, do 1 damage to each enemy is a hell of a Plains kind of thing to do. And then Bug Bomb, that's Insecticons. It's hella Insecticons. Alright, I'm gonna grab one more of these, go check the chat proper. Is there a Spider-Man card? It's canon to Marvel Transformers. Not yet. Endertrot, I do watch Tolarian Community College. That's one of the channels I got into back in April. Is there also a starter deck? So there is a starter deck. The only thing exclusive to the starter deck is, like, that Optimus card and 3 other character cards. Everything else in the starter deck is from here. But the starter deck is a decent core of cards to start with. It's just also a bit of a boring deck. But it's also, like, $15 American. And those 4 starter deck cards, the Optimus and Bumblebee, in my opinion, have uses. The Red Alert and Ironhide are not terrible, but they just don't really do anything. So they're not as important. But... it's inexpensive enough that I wouldn't say don't pick it up. Just bear in mind, it's giving you basically a deck mate. It's 20 cards, like 2 of each time. A lot of the core ones. What else am I missing here? Hassan Chomp! Correct. Wheelie card. Tell them on the social media. Dude who runs their social media is up for some silliness. Not saying Wheelie's silly. What did you say is the average price to get into this game? If you buy a starter set for $15, you can play. You'll have a bit of a ceiling on your effectiveness, but, like, you'll have a place to start. And the starter deck is basically a very vanilla Cars Trucks deck. So if you then, like, you know, buy a couple boosters and you start getting stuff that fits into it, you're good to go. If you want to do the card gamey thing and just buy a booster box, you're probably good to go. When I bought 1 booster box, I had enough to make 2 survivable decks. I'm just a lunatic who wants to have playsets of everything. That's why I'm getting more. Also, because the game's not out yet in Toronto or anywhere in Canada, and I like it a lot, I want to be able to have multiple decks built and ready to go to, like, you know, intro people to the game. Which, granted, means I have to actually go out and do that, which I haven't done so yet because I'm not very good at being social, but I'm trying. Knickknack95, Trax is not in the game yet. The cars in the game are Red Alert, Mirage, Prowl, Jazz, 3 Bumblebees, and Wheeljack, if I recall correctly. But not Slug. That's a Dinobot. He's going to go in the pile. Alright, you're going in that pile. And remember not to flip the table when you lose. Correct. Oh, if you're in America, you can go to Target and find these things. Like, they're out everywhere now. Sadly, they're actually, I think, easier to find at Target. A lot of gaming stores are only starting to come around on the game because, justifiably, a lot of them looked at this and kind of reacted like, this is a kid's game. Why do we want to carry this? And then, it turns out, the things that work in this game's favor, aside from these being my 4 commons, see, bold 3, is that this game is aimed at 8+, so the rules are simple enough for an 8-year-old to grasp. But then, there's a lot of surprising depth in the stuff written on the cards, and then they made the genius decision to just say, if it says it on the card, just take the card literally, and have rolled with that in a really good way. It's a very uncomplicated game. A lot of the FAQ is basically, really legit questions where, there are other games where it could be more complicated, and their answer is basically no, you just do it like this. One concept that I think really helps is the whole notion of, there's a card here, Ion Blaster of Optimus Prime. It says, put on Optimus Prime only. So when you put the card on someone, it has to be an Optimus Prime. If you then have a card that swaps this to someone else, it can swap to someone else. It's been put on Optimus Prime. Doesn't have to stay on Optimus Prime. That's a really key concept that has opened up, I think, this game to a lot of future mechanics, like that Metroplex set. As for this, the rare is Bombing Run. That is a Plains-ass card, but again, Plains. Choose an enemy character. Move 1 damage from each of your Plains to that enemy. So if your whole team is hurt, make sure you flip them all to Plains. Play this. They all heal 1 damage, and all that damage then goes on to target character. We also got Aerial Reach. This is a Plains booster. Jiminy Cricket. And Debilitating Crystal with some of that. Looks like, I always want to say that's Andrew Wildman art, but I don't know why. I think it's just the mouth. I actually don't remember where that's from. That's from, is that from Maximum Dinobots? I'm not sure. Well, anyway. There is a card game anime to go with this. Wizards have these tutorial videos up where Tabletop Gamer Universe Optimus and Megatron are teaching you the game. They're kind of like Universal Studios Optimus and Megatron being their own, in their own little world. Jets! Graham, Jets are super viable. There's a lot of viable teams in this if you go for tribals. You got Jets, you got trucks, you got cars. Cars, trucks can mix up pretty well. And you got Dinobots and Insecticons as, straight up card-supported tribals. And that's ignoring, just going for other stuff. You can also go for bold, you can go for tough, you can go for plus attack and pierce. Regeneration 1. Thank you, Profesh Andrew. The one bummer about this is the credits for the art is a PDF listing all the artists on their website, but, I'm hoping we can bully the TF Wiki into, making a whole thing of, cards listing and then, art from insert whatever. I don't want to do that work. That's why I want to bully someone else to do it. Shockwave is a spaceship. They went for War for Cybertron Shockwave, or at least that's the Legends art that they used for him in Wave 1. He and Cosmos, I believe, are the only spaceships. As for a movie set, I actually really would like to see a movie set, and the current messaging from Wizards is an extreme not right now. They're very particular to say, our card game is generations for the foreseeable future. Whatever that means. As for this, Flame War. There we go. Goes with Hound. Good card. Just I've had one since Gen Con. You're gonna go over here. Soundwave is not in yet, but the new Metroplex expansion kind of quietly shows how Soundwave could work, because Metroplex deploys with his 3 minions under him, so they're not on the battlefield. There we go. When you're checking to make sure your team is 25 points, you're checking what's on the battlefield at the start of the game. Then the check is over. So Metroplex then, when he flips from robot back to alt mode, you can deploy one of the 3 characters inside of him, which sure sounds a lot like how a robot might deploy some cassette robots that are inside of them is all I'm saying. I have read The Final Lost Light, but for the sake of it not being a very old issue yet, I'd really prefer if we don't talk about it. It's not even a week old. I'd rather give it a few weeks. Anyway, what are our commons? Brainstorm. Piercing Blaster. Data Pad. This is our appearance of some Alex Milne hands, which makes me happy. And then our rare is Start Your Engines! Oh, yes! Finally! God damn it! I've been waiting so long to actually pull one of these. I am so pleased. I would like to pull 2 more, but nonetheless, this is still a milestone. I finally stopped pulling! First booster I opened, pulled like my 7th one of this friggin' thing. Here we go. Ha! Alright, I feel satisfied now. This whole booster box was worth Disarm and Blast Shield. That was worth buying an entire booster box. Woo! Alright, what's going on with the chat over here? It's only 9:28, I can yell. Luke Moore, where can I get TCG? If you're in the States, it's everywhere. If you're in Europe and Australia, it should be everywhere, as I understand it. How's the card quality? It's Wizards. So it's, you know, battle cards, they've got that slight sheen. They're like a normal Magic card. You know, it feels pretty good. Character cards, they're foiled on one side, which means they start to curl. Not foiled on this side. Otherwise, same card stock. Pretty beefy. You know, it doesn't feel like paper. It's shuffleable, probably. I just like sleeving mine. Yes, Sean Crosser. It's also apparently in Malaysia, which is where I bought 2/3 of my cards so far. Well, probably for the rest of time. Ray Varn will trade me 2 Star Ranchers for the rest of the box. Yeah, if I could just go and pull all the character cards out just to make sure, you know, there's nothing I might be looking for in there. I'm totally down. I'll trade you 20 unopened battle card packs for 2 battle cards. I'm also joking. I just want to refill my glass. J-Light Clockwork, do you think they'll do triple changers? Yes, because another Wizards game, Duel Masters, has triple-sided cards that unfold. So the tech already exists. Wooka, when I yelled, your dog looked at you funny. I'm sorry. Vandalia, there is no Hot Rod card yet. He's not in Wave 1. By the way, they have confirmed in the interviews, we've done 2 interviews with the brand manager of this game on WTF and TFW. Those are on the channel here as well, if you want to listen to them. There's a lot of good info in there he's willing to share, and amongst the info he shared, he's currently working on product for, like, 2020 for the game. So this game has, like, 2 years basically worked on, at least. I think he said 2020. Maybe it was late 2019, early 2020. But basically, they have a lot of waves planned so far. A triple-sided card, it's basically, imagine, okay, how do I put this? So, like, this is one side of the card, right? And then it was like, oh, it was more like a trifold, so, you know, not quite the same size. But it's like, this was one side, and then it was like, you open this and close that, fold it over, then that's the second side, then you open it all up, and that was the third side. There's a video of it I saw on Reddit. It's buried in my Twitter somewhere, I think. I'm just making sure that's an I or an L. Mac Jiggies. I'm always serious. The TF boy. So, Generations, meaning maybe there's beast stuff possible, that's how I would take it, but I got the feeling that's low priority. If there's one thing, I love the Facebook group for this game, because it's like the most solid community, but there's one topic that always comes up with like a slight amount of heat, and that's when people are like, you think they might put beast characters in? There's always a couple people who are kind of like, you know, like they must, and there's some people who are like, keep Beast Wars out of it, and I'm kind of like, it's just as long as the game's good, man. I would like to see some Beast Wars characters in. Grimlockmas, doing combiners. I don't know. The way I would do combiners is to do 5 triple changer cards where the third mode is part of combiner artwork and you line it all up Exodius style or whatever, and like that would be kind of cool. But I don't know. Alright, 5 of those triple wide sides can pretty much form a humanoid shape. Joe, treating generations meaning they're folding people into G1 lore. That's kind of how I tend to take it now when people working on Transformers say generations. So I think it's just like, there will always be a sprinkle, like there will always be a garnish of G1 no matter what, I think. Chaos Croc, off topic, but he can't remember if I ever got Super Mini-Plaw Gaugagar. I looked at how Super Mini-Plaw work, and I decided they're good, but I don't want them because of all the parts swapping in a way that feels like it's like, no, we're doing the part swapping very highly on purpose, and I get it. I don't think that's bad, but I know that I don't really like that, and I don't want to spend a bunch of money on stuff where I'm going in kind of like, I don't think I like this. Because I'm trying to figure out ways to not buy stuff that I know I'm not very interested in, so that I can be more irresponsible buying things that I am interested in. I'm also interested to see who this is. Wheeljack! So this guy does equipment stuff. I really want to build a deck with him, but it's got to be cars, right? Because it's a very cars-centric card. Now I can finally start considering making proper cars. You can make cars without this card. It's just that, like, I really wanted to make cars with this card. So, working in Headmasters, if you listen to the first interview we did with Drew Nolosco, I brought up a way Headmasters could work, and I got one of those quiet nodding, that's interesting responses, which I admit I kind of try to do constantly when I talk to people working on stuff. So, I guess we'll see. Commons, Force Field. This is a big common. This was a learning experience for me. So this card, right? If the person wearing this armor would take 5 or more damage, you erase this armor and they take 4 damage flat. And I was like, well, when's anyone going to take that much damage? Because the way the starter plays against itself is very low-key. Taking more damage, a lot of constructed decks are, like I said, they'll Star Realms on you, and then, like, Nemesis Prime comes swinging in with, like, 18 damage. Force Field starts to become relevant. We got Brainstorm, one of my favorite cards. Crushing Size, I want to try using more. Incoming Transmission, another. Incoming Transmission, Force Field, Brainstorm, and Rapid Conversion are kind of like this is key stuff that every deck should at least consider. Yes, also, always recycle. This all goes in a special bag that goes into the recycle bin, because it's all plastic. I don't throw this into the trash with the food and whatnot. We have a system here in Toronto. The rare is the Matrix of Leadership. This is an interesting... This is actually a bit of a bummer card for me because of this line, put on Autobots only. This is the most that the flavor of the game has messed with playing the game, because you can ignore factions for the most part. This is the only card that's... I mean, there's the Optimus who's like, heal your Autobots, so I guess there's 2 cards who are like this specific, and I kind of wish this wasn't the case, because there's Decepticon leaders, and I don't know. I'm hoping Wave 2 has a Decepticon version of this, because I like this card a lot. And also, you can carry 3 of these, and if you're running multiple leaders, like, Bumblebee and Optimus, you can just start kitting people out with matrices of leadership. I think that's kind of fun. Uncommons, multi-mission gear, and emergency maintenance. This is some of that. This is... you almost want to go, like, emergency maintenance! And if you know this panel, if it's the one I'm thinking of, this emergency maintenance did not go well. I'm gonna crack another one of these. Are there characters like Octopunch and Deathsaurus? No, not yet. There's only, including the San Diego... not including the San Diego stuff, Wave 1 is 40 characters. And a lot of the character slots do get taken up by the Dinobots and the Insecticons. Jesus. What? What? Alright, let's see who you are. Oh! Alright, Shockwave. That's rare number 2. I gotta go put him in a thing. So here's what Shockwave looks like. So you see it's the War for Cybertron one. This is the other half of the deck I like to run. It's these 2, right? Not so much these abilities. These abilities are not amazing. Well, they're amazing, but not, they're not what you make a deck for. When you flip to this mode, you and your opponent both draw 2 cards. That's real cool. So, the way this works, this Optimus, when he attacks, you're flipping cards over, right? This Optimus, because you flip those cards over looking for these pips, you're looking for orange ones on attack. So you'll have flipped over, if you give him bold and stuff, you're hopefully flipping over like somewhere between 4 to 6 cards. If any of those cards are action cards, you can pick one of them, and you can just play it out of the flip pile after you've flipped his attack, but before your opponent flips for their defense. So, where's Brainstorm? I've done this at Chicago. This was one of the cards he flipped on his attack. I was like, I'm going to play Brainstorm. That means I can now play 2 actions out of my hand before you defend. You pile up with actions that'll either increase his attack, or you have actions that'll force discards, because Shockwave, when he's in robot mode, whenever a card is scrapped from your opponent's hand, every one of those cards is 1 damage to one of your opponent's characters of their choice. So between the two of them, you play an action-heavy deck full of damage and discard, and no matter what's going on, you're hurting them constantly. And some of the big powerhouse characters, like Nemesis Prime and Cosmos especially, are built on scrapping out your hand and running through your deck multiple times. And if you do that while Shockwave is hanging out in bot mode, you're taking all this damage at the same time. Shockwave is a deterrent. And this Optimus is just friggin' cool. Anyway, let's do that double sleeving thing again. That's always fun. So, I'll do this a bit slower. So I'm starting off with these. These are the precise fits. Ultimate Guard, precise fit, oversized are your key words. So I take one of those. And then we go top down. Slurp it up into that Ew, what's going on with you? This sleeve's like stuck together on the inside. I'm not using that one. Well, I'm gonna grab another one. That's embarrassing. I mean, that's... When does that not happen to someone, though? Am I right? Like, you're trying to get your sleeve all ready and it's all stuck together on the inside from... Like, that just occurs sometimes. So you slurp this up into the inner, and then you go grab an outer. In this case, I'm using the Mayday ones. Mayday sleeves for tiny epic kingdoms is what you want. 88 by 125 millimeters, or roundabouts 3.5 inches by 5 inches are your preferred dimensions. So now we'll just gulp you down into your outer. Yeah. Pump it. Yeah, here we go. Get your finger in there. If you get your finger in there, you can kind of push it in without getting too much of an air bubble going. And then, give it a little bit of a bend, get that air out, give it a little bit of that finger sandwiching. Just squish some of that air, get that real nice and tight. Ugh. All right. And then, where's one of my hard ones? I need a hard one. I'm just going to go grab a hard one. Hang on. Where'd my hard ones go? Here they are. Would you like the DJD in game? I would. That would be fun. Alright. Let's support See you later. See you later, Shadow Vaporeon. Just trying to catch up with the chat while I'm over here grabbing my hard ones. My enthusiasm for the game is making you want to try this out, Vendelia. Yeah, I mean, don't buy in if you don't play a lot of card games and you're not sure if this is for you, obviously. But, like, if you can find someone who's got cards, they should be able to make a second deck for you and at least run you through it. I think it's really fun, to be honest. You buy your sleeves so loose you can fit a finger in. No, listen, Graham. Sometimes, all right, you got to peel the sleeve open to get the card in, but then afterwards it'll right itself. It'll relax, it'll retighten up. Anyway, we got a hard one here. Okay, let's get you in. I don't want the sleeve to slip off. We don't want an air bubble on you. Come on. Really lightly using a fingernail on the tip. Just a little bit on the tip so I can push it in without wrinkling stuff. Alright, there we go. I did it. Shockwave is safe. They haven't gotten to Super... If they get to Super Link, it'll be better than the cartoon. I got a battle card pack here to open up. Who are good to play with Cosmos? So Cosmos is kind of the core of a deck. Sadly, currently the big character people play him with is one of the 2 super rares, which is Nemesis Prime. Cosmos actually goes well with Shockwave, I think. But, if I tap the hard ones on the desk, it should gravity... You're right! You gotta tap the hard one on the desk, and then it goes right in. Why wasn't I doing that before? Thank you for the advice. I've already lost you in my version of the chat. I'm so sorry. Oh, those fuse cards in Magic, the 2 angels who body horror together. That's what I was thinking of for combiners. Alright, so our commons are leap into battle, ready for action. And is that Casey Collar art? I feel like it is. The chin is kind of giving me that Casey Collar vibe. I'm not sure. Repair Bay, Inspiring Leadership. I like this because this is, Metal Hawk's in the card game now. This is from some of the stuff I loved in the last, in Phase 2 of IDW. The political play of President Starscream. I love seeing that in one of these cards. What's our rare? Null Ray of Starscream. Speaking of, uncommons, Grenade Launcher, and Bug Bomb. Null Ray of Starscream is the one bummer, right? Null Ray of Starscream, it doesn't suck. It's just not very good. Because it's like, alright, this is only on Starscream, gives him +1 attack, gives him bold 2. So if you've got, the big Starscream, the big Starsbowski, you put this on him, okay, he's attack 5 and bold 4, like, that's really cool, but if it's a Plains deck, like, you're kind of going for this direct damage. I don't know that this really is relevant. It's not terrible, it's just like, the Optimus and Megatron dedicated weapons are pretty solid, I think. The Starscream and Ironhide ones, to me, I'm not quite sure if they're there yet. The nice thing is, with it being Wave 1 and we know there's more waves coming, a lot of cards that feel pretty weak right now, in my opinion, have room to be, I guess, fixed with newer cards. Like the vanilla characters being a huge topic of discussion. The ones who have no abilities on either side, but they have just stats. I think that right now they're generally regarded as not very good, but like, I feel like a future card that makes relevant whether or not an ability is on here, I think that could become a thing that could also revitalize a lot of the vanillas, or at least make them a deck you could give a try to. Anyway, who do we got? Demolisher! I forgot he was in Wave 1, and I already have him too, which is really embarrassing. He's one of the few tanks. This guy, I tried making some starter decks. Demolisher was a real surprise MVP. I didn't realize, on this side, like, how much 4 defense means. But, like, this guy on his own survived for quite a while. I like Demolisher a lot. It's like, of some of the weirder characters, right? You've got Demolisher, and then you've got, where is he at? Deadlock, and it's like, for some reason I went in thinking it was going to be like, yeah, Deadlock's probably going to be really good. Demolisher's probably going to be okay, and it's like the complete opposite. It's like Deadlock is like Sergeant Cup tier, almost. And Demolisher is like this dude's this is a dude. This is a fella. This is a son of mine. Demolisher right here. Stay with me. Crack this open. Now with the battle cards, I have a want list. I don't remember what it is. I'm just tunnel visioned. I'm like, more start your engine, please. That's all. By the way, if you're new to the stream, this is all plastic. Recycle your plastic. Someone mentioned it in the chat, and I'm like, yes, we should say that more often. All right. Commons are new design, reinforced plating, supercharge, and data pad. Static laser. Speaking of the static laser of Ironhide, so this one I think is actually more interesting than Starscream's thing, in that it's a +3 to your attack, with the downside is if you're not Ironhide, you take 2 damage every time you attack. I think that's a really cool idea. The one bummer is Ironhide is just that card in the starter deck that's not amazing. And the vanilla, I should mention, I saw it in the chat, the vanilla characters are, like, at least the starter deck ones, they are lower points cost. So I don't think any of the vanillas are like, excuse me, they're not like 10-star. So they got something going on. It's just like, Cup is the one I always go to. Sergeant Cup is a 7-star truck who's not that great, and 7 stars is the realm of a lot of pretty decent, solid, like, characters. It's hard to want to choose Cup over similar options that you could be choosing instead. Ringer 149, I'm looking for 2 more start your engines to finish the playset. If I don't find them, I'll survive. They're not uncommon, so my uncommons are Crushing Treads and Computer Sabotage. I don't remember what Tailgate was doing in this panel, but I'm kind of like, was Tailgate ever in a position to sabotage a computer? I don't know. But it is cool that this is kind of like one of the 2 Tailgate cards in Wave 1, along with Swap Parts, just in that he's featuring on the art. Grimlockum, highest star vanilla is Slug. He's either 8 or 9 stars. I can check that. I pulled one. Let's see. He is 9 stars. Okay, yeah, highest star vanilla. And being a Dinobot, I've heard the case made that he's got more going on for him than other vanillas because Dinobot as a keyword has a lot of stuff that can play together. By the way, I want to thank you guys so far for sticking with the stream. I know that this is a channel mostly about toys, even though I work other things in here and there, and this is kind of like one of those fusion moments of like, this is relevant to toys, kind of. But thank you for chilling out as I open these things up and blat all kinds of card game words at you that probably don't entirely make sense. I'm enthusiastic about this card game, partly because it's good, and partly also because it's a pretty good card game that is also Transformers. If you listen to the Metroplex, the second interview that I have up with Drew Nolosco, I basically I had to tell him up front, I'm like, thank you for making a Transformers thing that is not media or toys that I'm actually into. Because, like, do you all remember the last time we had a Transformers card game? It was a weird vehicle to sell us Punch-Out 3D paper robots. And, like, that was the last time we had a Transformers card game. And now we've got one that, like... the equation... I meant to mention this, like, an hour ago. The equation that makes this pretty darn solid is it's, like... It's the power of your Wizards of the Coast, with like even, you know, friggin' Mark Rosewater having fingerprints on this game, but it's aimed at ages 8+ without 25 years of a stupid financial scene behind it. So it gets to be a good game from a good brain trust without the stigma of having to satisfy halfways gambling for adults, you know? But yeah, Riley TNT, there have been other Transformers card games. And the reason why you don't hear about them is because you shouldn't. This character is Bombshell. Speaking of vanilla, this is the Vanilla Insecticon. So this dude is like 8 stars, and he's 10 health. You know, he's not awful. It's just that the bummer for him, it's like Bombshell is the last Insecticon I would have assumed to be the vanilla one. You know what I mean? Like, Barrage is in this set, and like, you know, a couple of the deluxes are in this, and they all have abilities. Bombshell's the one who doesn't, and it's like, literally... Bombshell's right here on Bug Bomb doing stuff. So, I don't know. Let's see what these are. Wave Sign, yes, that pirate ship game. Except the pirate ship game was actually kind of okay, as I vaguely recall. J like Clockwork, it's weird how there's 142 people, but only like 20 chatting. You know, I don't want to force people to want to chat. It's... What do you call it? It's the wallflower thing. It's hard to force people to participate. Also, like, I've been in situations where I'm, like, lurking a chat room and doing something else, or I'm lurking a stream, and I don't have anything to offer. Yeah, no Ultimate Gambling. Is talking about Magic Ultimate Masters even relevant to most of y'all? I feel weird having opinions on it, given that I'm basically a newbie to Magic, but, like, as a newbie to Magic... I'm amazed I have opinions on it, and that's ignoring, like, this is before I watched anyone talking about it on YouTube. Like, I don't really get into... The bigger they are. Alright, I pulled one of those earlier. That's the rare. I don't really get into the MTG punditry side of things. I was, like, looking at it, and it became clear that, like, there's... I know I missed because I saw it in the periphery, but I missed some real ugly stuff, and the tone of it is still, like... You know? But, like... That Ultimate Master set, I saw the info for it, I read the article about Ultimate Masters, and I was like, speaking of someone who got into this game in April with Dominaria, who has really wanted to get into Modern, because everyone talks about how it's like, of the non-singleton formats, oh, it's one of the greatest forms of Magic. Okay, cool, what's the entry for it? Like $500. Huh, okay. A big reprint set full of, like, huge cards that I've spent the last, last 6-7 months hearing about and reading up and looking at prices and going, oh, it'd be cool to have those for a modern deck. Now this set has all of them. Oh, sweet. How much is it? It's literally the most expensive booster packs we make. Oh, why? Limited print supply, and it's not for everyone. And I'm like, what are you telling me, my man? Like, you're... As a newbie who would love an entry into Modern, where a lot of people who are playing Magic right now, Optimus Prime Common included, are able to get into Modern in part because they've been playing Magic long enough, they just have a lot of those cards when they were Standard, you know?
I look at this thing and I'm just like, I feel like you're literally telling me I'm gated off from that format because I don't want to buy a $400 Canadian booster box, and I just got here in 2018. You know, like that's the impression it gave me. And it's not like I'm gonna boycott the entire game. I have fun playing Magic, but it was just a real crushing note, you know, and in a real cynical wording from the company making it, especially when it's like, oh, it's a limited print run, blah blah. And the whole time I'm sitting there going like, it's yo, it's paper with ink, my man. Like, I collect Transformers. I know why those things can be more expensive. I don't still understand. Like, that's why I like about this game is that this is not catering to a secondary market whatsoever, and I have doubts it ever really will, on purpose. But like, you know, Ultimate Masters just it's a sour taste that makes me really happy this game's around. Our rare is Heroism. I love this. This is great, actually, with our boy Scrapnel. Let me show you something. So Scrapnel, right? Yeah, I'm going to stop yelling about Ultimate Masters now. I did it. I became one of those channels. Anyway, Scrapnel. He's a bug. You flip to this mode, and you can kill one of your Insecticons to tap an enemy that's not... basically, this is to tap anyone. It says 13 stars or fewer. Only Metroplex is bigger so far, but I like that they left that out. So that ability is interesting. Insecticons have got a thing where they can, like, there's another card as well, Bug Bomb, actually, I think is the one, where you can KO your own characters for results. But his robot mode is the big thing, because that Force Field card, where it was like, if you take over 5 damage, you only take 4, and then you scrap that piece of upgrade, this guy has got a better permanent version. He cannot take more than 3 damage in an attack from a single attack. So direct damage can still hurt him. He's only got 7 health, but he can only take... So if someone hits him with someone who had, like, Bold 18, they hit him for 30 damage, he takes 3. You combine that with Heroism, put this on him, any of your characters get attacked, they basically have Scrapnel as a force field until Scrapnel's taken care of. And I think that's really cool. I'm not the one who invented that. That's something I learned through watching coverage of the game. Oh, sadness. And, hey, someone was asking about Rodimus. This is, I think this is the Chief Rodimus card, unless he's the one in Supercharge. I can't remember. This is how I always remember seeing Rodimus. Is there a defect in that sleeve? What the hell are you talking about? I don't see no friggin' defects. Are you messing with me? I missed a whole bunch of chat while I was pretending to get mad. Let's take a look. I've seen some cards came with issues. Don't know what the issues were. I've missed it. Oh, Sean Crosser. You're talking about the Gen Con pack. Yeah, the Gen Con pack, which was 2 characters and 2 battle cards, all one-ofs, which doesn't matter for the characters. You can only get it at Gen Con. The reaction that this company has had to people asking about it on social media gives me the impression that they probably won't do that again. Like, we'll see if they ever, like, the question is, A, will they ever do convention-exclusive cards again? Then we'll see if they do that. Like, B, what are they? Because I think the thing about the Gen Con pack that was real nuts, it wasn't that it had 2 characters, because at the end of the day, you only need 1 of any given character. When are you talking about defects? I don't see any. You're talking about the foiling? The foiling's not a defect. It's a feature that makes the card curl. Like, there's a little scratch up. That's on the top loader. Top loaders can have scratches. Anyway, that thing came with 2 characters, right? It was at San Diego and on Hasbro Toy Shop as well, but that doesn't help Canadians. Am I right? It also came with 2 of these. These you can have up to 3 of in a deck. And then one of the ones it came with, Tandem Targeting System, says if you have other copies of Tandem Targeting System in your scrap pile, implying you'd want to run at least 2, if not the full 3. That was, I think, the thing that was like, this doesn't make any sense on a limited run convention exclusive, because if someone wants to get 3 of those battle cards, they're going to get 3 of the character cards, and you can only have 1, and that means there's going to be a glut of the character cards in the aftermarket, and then a non-glut of the battle cards, which everyone wants multiples of. Anyway, I think that was probably the biggest misstep that this game has made, and I'm hoping that will not happen again in that way. Like, we'll see. You know, I'm doing this just so there's some motion on screen. We'll see. I saw a bunch of chat fly by, so I'm going to take one more look over here. Autobot starter deck. I missed the speed booster card with Rodimus. That was Rodimus. That's Supercharge. I know I got one in here. That's not Rodimus. That's Starscream. That's Starscream with whose artwork is this? What's that from? Like that doesn't. Is that the old Milne faces when they were doing the movie faces? I don't know what panel that's from. Anyway, I should get going with some more stuff here. Just check on the chat. It's from Infiltration. Okay, or 13 Starscream from the Asians. That's EJ Sue art. All right. Why did I think that was the movie face stuff from the Milne era? Man. Adequate mate. Not sure if I'll ever get into this game, but I've been enjoying vicarious enjoyment listening to you gush about it for the past couple months. I'm glad. Like, when I gush about the game, it's not like trying to sell it, although like certainly I'd like more people in my area to play it, but that's not anyone's fault but Canada not having the cards yet. I'm also gushing about it because like I'm legit enjoying it. And like I said, I'm enjoying it and I'm happy that it's a tabletop-y game I'm enjoying that also is Transformers. It's just nice to feel good about a Transformers card game. Chop Shop! Alright, this is the last Insecticon I got. This dude's interesting. Also, the foiling is mostly working on his eyes and his insignia for me, and I'm digging that. This guy can swap upgrades, and he can heal, but he's a very upgrade-based guy. I'm not sure how he fits in with the current Insecticon approach, but I think I've seen people run him, and it worked okay. You'd have to go more upgradey, I assume. Let's get some of these open. I'm hitting that thing where I've been talking for like 75 minutes straight, and now my mouth's starting to feel funny. So I'm going to just keep going. Rapid Conversion, Drill Arms, Flamethrower, and Improvised Shield are the commons. Security Checkpoint is the rare. I think I needed a third one of these. So that's good. That's also some Milne art. I think is that Ratchet in the Functionist universe? Can't remember. But yeah, the Insecticons, they did a couple of the deluxes. I think they did everyone but Venom. So Venom is currently the only Insecticon who's not card represented. Is that right? Venom? I always forget if, the green and orange one. Power Sword and Computer Sabotage. This Power Sword, is that... Whenever I see Dinobot art I don't immediately recognize, I'm always like, is that Maximum Dinobots? Maximum Dinobots is this huge hole in my memory. I can't remember anything that happened in it. TFX, Primus Supreme. You love the art on these cards. So the battle cards, a lot of this stuff is from the comic books, IDW comic books. Currently, in Wave 1, almost all of these are from that mobile game that has been dead for a few years, Transformers Legends, which is a lot of Marcelo Matier's art. There are new character arts being done, the first few of which are appearing in the Metroplex set, and currently at least those ones are also Marcelo Matier with Volta doing the coloring. So when Legends was out on iOS and whatnot, I was like, I want to see that artwork on physical cards that are not bound into some, complete dumbass money sink of a game that I spent too much money on. I'm really happy about this art existing in the physical. Makes me happy. I'm going to take a sip of my beverage. Mechanova King Venom just doesn't get any respect. Also, I think they're trying to figure out another name for him so he doesn't have to be called Venom. Is my suspicion. Venom's just always been really, to me, noticeably absent from everything. Like, Barrage and Chop Shop got even, they got new official toys. When Fans Project did that 3-pack, retooling a bunch of dudes into the deluxes, they skipped Venom again. It was Ransack, always getting... Ransack's the one who never gets the official, but he's, the unofficial poster boy. Bumblebee Courageous Scouts, common Bumblebee. Okay. This is also Bumblebee with the funniest head. I remember this art from the mobile game, and I remember thinking then, I don't know how to describe it. It's just something about his head is real funny. Anyway. He also has that thing where it's you want to flip some white pips over, so there's a few cars who do this, and I really want to know what that's like in action. JR9 Five Eyes size. I agree. They should release the Legends artwork in an actual book. A lot of Marcelo's artwork should get released in a book. And, I don't know, man. I yell about treat the artist better all the time. That's where I will summarize it. Let's see. Force field, brainstorm, crushing size, incoming transmission. Sorry, someone wanted to see improvised shield. Let me grab that. This looks like... Okay, that looks a lot like Andrew Wildman to me. Is that Regeneration 1? Is Regeneration 1 the thing? Because it's got that, you know, the kind of look. It's got the creases on the mouth. He's got the flex. Yeah. By the way, the rare from that last pack is Cybertonium Bow. I did need that one. And I've also got Disarm. And this is Empire's Stone, right? This is the Shane McCarthy joint. Yeah. Yeah, Cybertonium Bow. Guess who features on a card? It's this dickhead. I always forget his name. I just remember he's a jerk. One of the mutineers. Anyway, he's a Cybertonium Bow. This is something that a couple folks want to try running with Metroplex. And I would like to as well. Yeah, Getaways for Atomizer. Thank you, Mechanova King. And everyone else. Okay, here come... I saw Mechanova Kings. Here comes all the other folks who pushed enter a split second later. Alright, who are you? Skywarp. I'm still looking for Thundercracker. That's embarrassing. Skywarp is kind of like... I feel bad saying it. He is occupying the space of the third Seeker on my Plains team, because he's cheap enough to fit in. So he's got this thing where if he defends and you flip one white pip, you can have someone else take the damage instead. And then in plain mode, flip to this, and we each reveal the top card of our deck. It's like, it's not awful, but it's like, you're here as a third body, unfortunately. TCG original characters, I suspect that's unlikely. I think that they really want to focus on stuff they can call generations. I think it'll be more like comic exclusive characters, or comic originated characters maybe getting rolled in as time goes on. Move 3 packs down and grab the 4th Rare Chance Thundercracker. I don't understand the move. So you mean this one? Do you mean this one? Let me know. Alright, leap into battle. I think, so why does Skywarp not teleport? I feel like the idea is he defends and he teleports and then someone else gets hit. I think. I'm not too sure. Ready for action. Repair Bay. Inspiring Leadership. And our rare is Team Up Tactics. You get 2 of this in the starter, FYI. I don't think it's terrible, but I have a lot of them now. Collateral Damage, that's a good Shockwave card. Jaws of Steel, that's the other Dinobots card. It gives some bold. Code on the boosters. So I don't think there's a code on the boosters. Like there's a number, but I don't think the oh, hey, check it out. Hasbro Toy Malaysia. Interesting. So I think that people have like discovered some patterns in collation, but I don't think there's been any evidence that there is like a set way that you know what you're gonna get. Partly because there's been such a wide array of reports on what's in an entire box. Like when one says the rares are in the middle, does that mean 2? Does that mean 3 or 4? How does that relate to super rares? Also, what about the box, or the 2 boxes I've heard of where someone got no rares, which are what I would call the sadness boxes. Like that would not feel very good. And then this all rolls into the part as well where, like, this game is a good game, but it is also being aimed at 8-year-olds, so the collation of the booster box, how much is the booster box sale being, having a focus put on it as opposed to the individual boosters? I don't know. I'm starting to sound like one of those finance people. I also have 2 lights up here that I did not turn on. I forgot to turn on. I'm going to turn them on. I don't know if anyone will even notice, but now those 2 lights are on. We did it. You are Hound. What's up, buddy? Oh, you pulled 2 of me in the same booster box, Spike. I'm not Spike. But thanks. Alright, let's see what we got in here. Code Turtle! Of the 6 Walmarts, 2 Targets, we bought them out 2 or 3 times they fulfilled. You should talk to Aaron when we were at TFCon, was on his 4th booster box. And I might end up, I don't know. I like this game a lot, and I like these cards a lot. I want to... Some of the ways I've come up with justifications for buying too many cards is like, I can just make extra play sets, and get them signed by all the different artists whose artwork is on here. It's really stupid. Where to get the booster box? I got mine off a Malaysian eBay seller before they jacked the price up another $10. If you're in the States, you can get it anywhere. If you're in Australia or Europe, you should be able to get it anywhere. If you're in Canada, you're stuck with me doing all this nonsense. They are working on getting the game out to Canada, is my understanding. Our commons ready for action. Improvise shield. Drill arms. New designs. Rare is system reboot. This card is the business with Shockwave, and it's kind of the business with Nemesis and Cosmos, but it's more the business with Shockwave, because when they do this, Shockwave's like, cool, take a damage for your whole hand. Or take you know, X damage, whatever your hand size was. Bug Bomb and Debilitating Crystal are the uncommons. And yeah, I think these are great as things to get signed. That's why we all got to bully the TF Wiki into getting some poor TF Wiki intern to catalog what all this stuff is from and who did the artwork. Caden Thomas, when I'm going to start reviewing Studio Series sooner than later, when I'm going to start reviewing Siege, I don't know. It's not out in Canada, and I don't want to order it online, because First Wave always eventually shows up in Canada and during a Toys R Us sale, so I'm like, I'm spoiled now. I want to, on Boxing Day, walk into Toys R Us and get the first wave of Siege for like 30% off. That's the dream. There we go. Yeah, I love that they're using IDW art as well. Toys R Us is not dead in Canada. We had no problems over here. It's a fine Canadian brand. I know that the expansion to the States, you know, ended a bit poorly, but, you know, it's always been a Canadian brand, and you just gotta respect that. Slug! Didn't need to see you again. You should have been Thundercracker. I also like how they actually are manufacturing clear booster packs for these. Like, I was just about to say, they've never done clear booster packs. Those are the things they use in the pre-releases for when they have, like, the promo rares or whatever for Magic, but I like clear booster packs because it's, like, kind of defeating the purpose. Rare is Peace Through Tyranny. I love this card. Peace Through Tyranny and I Still Function are 2 cards with Megatron on them that I also really enjoy. Are the rarities like Magic the Gathering? So the battle cards, I think there's no mythics. So the battle cards are commons, uncommons, rares. You get 4 commons, 2 uncommons, 1 rare per pack. And then the characters are the same, common, uncommon, rare. You only get 1 character per pack, so it's more like there's a rough collation for a booster box, but it's not set. And then there's 2 super rare characters that are supposed to be 1 in 79 boosters. It's a super rare, the 3rd Bumblebee, basically, and then Nemesis Prime. They are 2 pretty good characters, but they're not necessary to win the game. Thank goodness. Rapid Ascent and Treasure Hunt are the uncommons. What is this for? Is this Regeneration 1? Because I always look at this, and I'm like, what's happening here? And I don't recognize it at all. I missed something there in the chat. 30. I'm sorry the expansion of the States didn't last. It's something you say if a business falls early on, not after decades. Maybe in Canada, our proportions are just different. I don't know. Is that Cybertronian on the very top of the card? Yes. My understanding, I haven't confirmed this, but I'm pretty sure someone said this is just the card name, but in Cybertronian, which is kind of a cool touch. Code, I would say COD 3 Turtle, Code Turtle. Using my dupes to make extra decks for friends to play is also one of my aims, with my dupes. Also, because maybe it's because there's only 1 wave, but I'm really enjoying building decks for this game. I'm actually doubly looking forward to wave 2 when there's more 4-star characters, so that, like, I can get more creative with my character layouts. But we're getting to the bottom here pretty soon. Barrage, I was just talking about you. You're gonna go over here. I just saw someone say Willie Ames. I don't know what that means. If the art looks old, it's Regeneration 1. Let's show a little... let's show a little more respect to poor Andrew Wildman, though. I like his art, but that also is a way to describe it. Piercing Blaster, Primary Laser, Medic, and I just realized that's I've looked at this card like a million times. I just realized that's Cliff Jumper. I don't know who I thought that was before, because he doesn't look like Cliff Jumper at a glance, aside from his head. That looks like, you know, it looks more like Red Bumblebee. Anyway. Battle Ready, and the rare is Hunker Down. That's the one Aaron really wanted. Aaron had opened 4 booster boxes and pulled one of these. Maybe that's going to be the story of me and Start Your Engine somewhere down the road. I don't know. I'll put you over here. Disruption and Aerial Recon. Lots of jets. Oh, actually, I like Disruption also because that's Rung getting battered off the entranceway to the Lost Light. It's like, yes, he is getting disrupted. Are we gonna keep talking after the stream is done? Probably for a bit, because I have trouble stopping talking. I gotta be careful though. We're at 90 minutes already. I still got time. I gotta get up in the morning. Got some freelancing stuff going on. I think it's like Cliff Jumper's in a pose, and he's like drinking something too, and he's just like lounging back, going like, "Ratchet, give me a massage." Who are you? Sludge. It's like, seems really common to kind of just pull the Dinobots out of a booster box. Sludge is like one of the Crux Dinobot cards, though. He's got the, see, he's got this thing where when your Dinobots attack, they repair 1, and that's fine, but this is the big one. When you flip to this mode, move any number of damage counters from your other Dinobots to this one. That you can move, so he has 12 HP. You can move any number of damage counters. If all your Dinobots are hurt, and that's like, you know, 16, 20 damage counters, flip to this. He can just take all of it, and he's dead, but he's also healed your entire team. Then you play I Still Function, so he can come back to life, and do it again if you have the right amount of cards going on. I love it. Cameron Edishami, I did read the last issue of Lost Light. I don't want to discuss it, though, on the stream. It's still too young. It's less than a week old, so I don't want to get too deep into that. I'm holding off really talking about End of IDW at any detail publicly until after. I'm going to give it like a couple weeks after the last issue comes out. Maybe around the time when McFeely's summary issue comes out. That's when I'll feel okay to talk about it a bit more. But for now, I want to help people because it's A, spoilers, but also B, the demented release schedule is messing with people even worse. And I'm like, some people might be holding off until more issues are out. I just want to be kind. Commons, Armored Plating, Reinforced Plating, Flamethrower, and Crushing Size. It's one of our many Overlord cards that's not Overlord, FYI. Ooh, another Null Ray of Starscream. I think that finishes my set. That I'm probably not going to use, but, you know. Ramming Speed. This is kind of a Crux uncommon, I think, because scrapping upgrades is big. There's a bunch of ways to remove upgrades, but this one's kind of nice in that you can just go like, no, that one's gone. You know, you don't have to worry about what kind it is, etc. And the whole Specialist thing, I need to learn more about, because there's some characters who have Specialist as a tag, and there's like these, you know, Specialist equipments, and they're pretty cool. And I've always wondered, like, should I just try running an all Specialists deck? Grab you. Blackhawk Omega, Unicron 6, I believe, takes place... I think that it was supposed to be the final issues of Optimus Prime and Lost Light both take place after Unicron number 6. So at least, you know, Barber's stuff is going to come out in the right order. It's none of the writer's fault. It's just like... I felt really bad for them, given that, like, the first... I want to say the first, like, month and a half of Unicron, Optimus Prime was lagging behind in a really unfortunate way. Ransack, man, we're talking about Insecticons, we're getting Insecticons. Yeah, here's your boy Ransack, the guy who always gets what Venom doesn't. Here he is. What's up? I'm not Venom. Hi. And yeah, Lost Light 25 was also supposed to be the last one to come out. It was the first of the 3 final issues to come out. That's the whole thing as well. That's why I'm being really nice about it, because I know I have a couple friends who have said, like, they're kind of wanting to wait the 3 weeks before they read it, to read it all in order. All right, Zap, Scrapper Gauntlets, Medic, and Primary Laser. Hang on, I want to catch this. Code Turtle. What you described about, like, you don't dislike IDW, you just have a lot backlogged, that is me and IDW's Ninja Turtles. I love their Ninja Turtles books. I'm also like a year and a half behind. I've been buying them as they come out digitally because I love them, but I'm behind enough where I was always like, well, I'm going to read the Transformers books. And then, like, then I'd be like, I'll read Turtles in a bit. Now I'm so far behind Turtles, it's like I need an event, like a long flight, where I can read my year and a half I'm behind on Turtles. It's embarrassing. Data Bank. That's actually a pretty solid Shockwave card, but it's a pretty solid everything card. Let's just draw stuff. Unicron storyline's still happening, is what I'll say. What I'll say is I'm enjoying the end of IDW. I think they're doing a good job. It doesn't make me sad as much as I was afraid it would. Like, it's still, maudlin, but I'm okay with it. But I'm enjoying it. It's oddly is actually reminding me a lot of the best stuff from Revolutionaries. But we'll see how it ends. That's the other thing. Is I never really have an opinion on a story arc in comics till it's over. It's my own weird thing. I just feel weird, like, if I'm reading a 6-issue story arc in issue number 3, I'm like, I think I'm done with this. I'm kind of like, unless it's giving me a real specific flag, I feel like I've only read half of the story, so I'm like, I don't know how I feel till it's all done. Bombshell, what are you doing here? Is this going to be a 2 rare box? I'm okay with it, but is this going to be a 2 rare box? We'll find out. Let's assume it's going to be a 2 rare box. The one thing you never want to do when you're shredding boosters, I've learned in my limited time, is set yourself up thinking like, oh, what if I have the God pull? Because, like, you probably don't. So it's better to assume that you have a humble box, and then if it proves to not be humble, then you're done. Is the TCG too new for me to buy a deck list instead of boosters? I think if you're in the States or the UK, you're able to get a whole bunch of singles for decent prices. Therefore, you can just, like, build a deck. You can buy the stuff to build a deck. If you're not in the States or the UK or Australia, then you're kind of stuck because everyone's really expensive shipping-wise to get singles. At least, okay, when I say that, it's getting them to Canada. That's my bias. Getting singles to Canada, the shipping sucks, especially from the States where everyone's using, like, eBay's shipping system. So it's like, I would like to order a card. It's like, all right, that will be a normal price, plus $20 shipping, plus $10 pre-custom, so you don't have to pay customs for real. And it's like, okay, what if I don't? So if you're in the States, yeah, like, this is a game you can totally just buy the stuff to have a deck. Deck lists are not super common outside of the Facebook group right now. Also, a lot of people don't post a deck list. They post a photo of all the cards, so you kind of have to do a bit of work. But I think it's completely reasonable. The only expensive cards right now are the character cards, and even then, it's ratios. It's because there's one per booster pack, and only a few of them are truly expensive, and in my opinion, while they're nice cards, they're not necessary to be good at the game. So, yes, avoiding boosters and just buying singles I think is completely valid. How do you get $20 shipping when buying one card? Good question. I would like to know too. Force Field, Brainstorm, Leap into Battle. 20 US shipping too, FYI, which means more in Canadian. Okay, rare is Bombing Run, and our uncommons go in that pile. That's the rare pile. Uncommons, Disarm, and Equipment Enthusiast. 30. Wish the rules were better done. I agree. It's a shame that, like, the rules are sort of splattered everywhere, I guess, is the way I'd describe it. I like the videos they put up. I think they're very cute, and I think they're pretty good at explaining the rules, but the best way to get the rules right now is to watch some gameplay, and more importantly, check out the FAQ thread, or the FAQ they've put up. It's most easiest to find on the Facebook page, the official one for the game. Because the FAQ they're doing, they're very much staying on top of answering questions, and it's been extremely helpful. The way that they're just, like, laying out, like, how stuff works. What's this? Yeah. Oh, they're cute, but only want one video. I agree. I wish that... I've seen other games. I think Android Netrunner did this, where... was it Netrunner? No, it was Epic Card Game. They had multiple videos, but then they also had a version that was just a supercut of all the videos as one video, and I kind of wish they had that for this game. Also, I wish their videos were on YouTube, because I think the only way you can watch the videos is on the actual website. And like I went looking for the videos on YouTube, and all I could find were some of the fan-made how-to-plays, and like they're fine, but I find outside of a few certain channels, fan-made how-to-plays of tabletop games are often a little intense, is how I would put it. Where an official video might be a little bit too shallow, a lot of fan-made how-to-plays are like almost ballistic at times, and it can be very hard, not hard to keep up with, it can be intimidating, is what I would say. I missed something. Sean Crosser, I'm in Asia, so I get that shipping is half what I'm paying makes sense, but Canada? Shipping from the States to Canada got expensive about a year and a half, 2 years ago, in a very marked way. Anyway, who are you? Jetfire! I don't have too many of you. So this is the one non-Decepticon Jet. And he's not actually fitting in that well with the jets I have, in my opinion. But I don't mind him. I just feel like I'm waiting for more cards he goes with. Soundwave Legion. My backdrop is a Kotobukiya mechanical chain base. There are official ones available. There's also knockoffs of it. Captured Prey has a ton of one of the knockoffs of it. Nemesis and Slipstream are pretty good cards. Nemesis is a pretty good card. I was very worried that Nemesis would be such a good card that it was a case of one of the two super rares is the best card in the game. Have fun chasing down a super rare. But there are plenty of decks that have been reported to be anathema to Nemesis. So, what was I saying? Yeah, there's no worry about the super rares breaking the game quite yet. Oh, there's something there about shipping. What was it? The original De Beer. As someone who works at UPS store, international shipping from the US to anywhere is expensive. It is much cheaper to import to the States than to export from it. Yeah. Stuff always changes. It's always cyclic. But right now, it's real gross getting stuff shipped from the States to Canada specifically. What is our rare? Cargo Trailer. This thing's interesting. I've been sold on the card, but I also got sold on some of the chatter about this being a bit of a trap rare of like, it's attack upgrades. You can have 3 of them stacked in one slot, but also that means you're going to have to take several turns stacking them in a slot, and that's also going to put this gigantic target on whoever's getting loaded up with 3 cargo trailers. I feel like it's still pretty cool, but yeah, I think that once there are more ways to... Well, there's plenty of ways to cheat upgrades out, but if there was some way, maybe there is, to cheat out 3 upgrades at once so you could just slap all 3 down on one character at one time, that would make this a lot more interesting to me. Do you think there might be a forbidden or limited list made for this game somewhere down the road? Always a possibility. But right now, I don't really see a reason. From my understanding, there's been no clearly defined broken cards or deck. Like, Insecticons and Dinobots aiming for bold tend to just do well, but it's... As I understand it, it's not really due to like any one like real busted card that's allowing for it. It's a combination of them. So I don't know. This is not the game that I think needs the early erratas and restrictions quite yet. Oddly enough, Age of Sigmar Champions, one of the entire factions. There's 4 factions in that game. The Orc faction, Destruction, is actually kind of broken and is already getting errated in digital. Oh, holy crap! I got a new rare. Dark Mount. This is what I was hoping for. This is the last tank I need. Now I can, like, have my gamut of tanks. I still don't have Rare Megatron, but Rare Megatron's so big you can't really run him with other tanks that well. Dark Mount means I get to run the tank triplicate, and I've really wanted to try doing that. I'm excited. Also, Dark Mount, it's friggin' Straxus with his Generations name. Speaking of characters, I'm kind of happy they slipped a few into for Wave 1. Friggin' Straxus in Wave 1. My man. Oh, that looks so cool. I like that toy a lot too, I admit. Someday I need to review that toy. We've just come, I'm not going to say we've come out of one yet because I have yet to prove I'm still making stuff, but when this guy was coming out, that was another one of those dark periods for me of like just not getting Transformers done. Back then, that was when I was really not at least self-aware enough as to why. But like the whole 2011 era, like when I was coming to Toronto, like so much stuff just slipped by me mostly because I was like, well, I can't do it right. They're gonna hate it. I can't do it right. Which, would you believe it, is one of the biggest reasons why I sometimes go radio silent. Is I'm like, well, I have to do the video right, or I can't do it at all. And that becomes very self-defeating, because I know that a lot of you all do not really like follow me on other social medias. So to me, I'm like, well, I'm still active on Twitter. It's like I haven't gone anywhere. There are folks who just follow me here, and so, like, for instance, the last few months have been like, I wonder if Chris is dead, basically. So I need to. It's that, yeah. Where was it? Sean Crosser, good old imposter syndrome. Tell me about it. One of the most freeing moments of my adult life was reading about imposter syndrome, where I was like, well, at least there's an explanation. Because I used to just think I was insane. And I mean, maybe I am, but not for that reason. Yo! We're here! Oh, man. This is a good pack. This is a good pack. What's up, y'all? How you doing with this good pack? Ooh! Yeah, baby. Who are you? I don't even care. All right, there's only one thing left for this to do that's realistic. It's like a third start your engines. I'm fine with 2. I can roll with 2. You don't need playsets of everything. But baby. Oh, I'm so happy I'm streaming this. Oh, yeah, okay. So, whoop, almost knocked my piles over. I've got 3 boosters left, so we're almost done the meat of this stream. Who's on the Start Your Engine card? I believe those are Micromasters. I believe that's Empire of Stone, which okay, here's my little guilty secret. That's the IDW thing I haven't actually read. I read the first half, and my reaction was, I'll wait for the trade, and then the trade came out, and I still haven't read it. But I think that looks like the Empire of Stone colorist. I can't remember who now. There's something about Empire of Stone's coloration that always kind of stands out to me. If I pull a Slipstream out of one of these, that'll be real messed up, because that's a convention exclusive. So let's see. At this point, these 3 boosters are kind of moot. Like, I'm going into these 3 boosters like, whatever, I might pull junk. And that's fine. Nuts. Okay, so for once, I saw this happens constantly with the ones where there's a common and a rare. I saw the Megatron, and I still don't know his art that well, so I'm like, is that a living weapon Megatron? It's not. It's the common Megatron. Not a bad Megatron. He's part of that Tanks triplicate I want to run. In fact, the thing I really want to do with this Megatron is he's got Pierce 3, and there's a lot of cards where you can just, like, stack his Pierce up, and I want to try running something like that. Pierce is basically, it's a complicated thing to describe, even though it's a very simple mechanic. So if you do damage, right? So it doesn't matter how much damage he does. If his Pierce is 3 of those potential damages are unblockable and will go through. That's I think the easiest way to describe it. It's like penetration damage. Yeah, also I've heard Empire Stone's kind of meh. Like, it's not like it's not like nefarious, you know, but it's like, oh, what's the word I would use? This word is way more insulting than I mean for it to sound. But, like, off the top of my head, I think of Empire of Stone from descriptions as being, like, inconsequential, I guess. Sorry, I just missed something there. I should save the last 2 character cards, open the battle cards, then hit the characters J like clockwork. Let's do it! Let's do it! It's not like Trample. Grimlock has an equivalent to Trample. Because it's more like it goes through your defense rather than over your defense, if that makes sense. Alright. Comments. Energon Axe, you're not Start Your Engines. That's fine. I still love you. Armed Hovercraft and Aero Recon. Okay, so these 2. I will get the battle packs out of here and not look at the character cards as best I can. I'm actually looking away from the camera. I'm going to do it over here so you don't accidentally see it. But I'm not looking, and I don't want you guys to see it by accident either. This is hard. Where are you? Okay. 1. And then I'll make sure this is... I'm looking at the ceiling while I'm doing this, for context. There's 1 character card we will find out. And then let's do this again. Get you open. Drew C, yeah, I like Needle Nose kind of having representation on Flamethrower. Like, using the IDW panels is also kind of like, while they're obviously not character cards, they're getting, like, some beloved comic characters kind of snuck in there. Okay, this is not the character card, this is just the booster. Okay. And we'll make sure this is all closed back up again. Grim Alchemist, I played a defense-heavy tank deck of TFCon that focused on Pierce. Quite frustrating to go against. That sounds super fun, and also, yes, quite frustrating. Alright. Alright, here we go. So we have 2 more rolls to see if I can get a third Start Your Engines. And I will pre-say, I don't care if I don't get it. I don't expect it. It would be super cool, but being realistic, it's not like luck is a modifiable thing that I can... Dino Chomp, that's not Start Your Engines. I hate everything! No, I'm fine. Treasure Hunt and Multi-Tool. Alright. Let's do this. Needle Nose, yeah, he was in the fan vote that they did most recently. The one that Mirage and Impactor won. Alright, let me get this straight here. Okay. Crushing Size. Zap. Handheld Blaster. Piercing Blaster. You're not cars, are you? You're just that friggin' cop. You're that friggin' cop's special gun. And you're like, oh, look at my fancy ion blaster. You're not a bunch of cars. You bastard. Alright. Mirage is cool. However, the fan vote was Mirage and Impactor as a package, and then Needle Nose and Trax is another package. I think Impactor is who won the fan vote, is the one I'll say. All due respect to Mirage. On Turbo Booster, this is Sunstreaker, I think. Because he's got the things. Alright, here we go. Woo-ha! Have fun Fortniting. Unless you... It's 2 more polls if you got another minute, if you want to catch them. Alright, let's see who this is. Inferno! Not a bad card. Inferno is one of the ones with a vanilla side that's not too bad, because this ability is pretty cool. He's also a truck. He also has very high HP, and I believe that is the highest base attack value in the game that he and Rare Optimus both share. So Inferno's kind of a beater. He's not bad. I haven't tried playing him yet, but a lot of people run him with a 13-star character because it fits. And we're down to our last one. All right. Let's get you... Slide you out of this disposable skin. And final character card of this box is none other than Kickback. It's not bad. He's a 5-star. He's one of the few 5-star characters, which he is someone who can allow for a larger, wider character team. The 5-stars right now are kind of the crux to character building stuff that is wide. I'm really looking forward to Wave 2, where Drew has mentioned there are going to be more 4-star and maybe even smaller characters. Because right now, most characters fall into that, 7 to 9 or 7 to 10 kind of range. And with a max of 25 stars, it means that's kind of the main ceiling we're running into right now. Did I get all 5 of the Insecticons in one box? Scrapnel, Kickback, Bombshell, Ransack, Barrage. I did! I pulled the full Insecticon. That's pretty darn cool. I pulled no swarms in that whole thing. I got some Bug Bombs, but I like Swarm a lot more than Bug Bomb. That's pretty freaking cool. I showed you how to double sleeve. I'll show you some more sleeving before we're done, because I know I got to sleeve 1 Energon X and let's Start Your Engines at the very least, if not a few more of these. But let's do. I also got a Dark Mantis. I'll do one more character. I'll just double sleeve this character. Because he's going to go into the binder. So, let's get a precise fit. Get that on there. Ugh. Good. All right. That feels precise. Excellent. And then we will slip that down into the Mayday. Oh, this one's fighting. This one's fighting me, but we're going to do it. I like it when you fight. It means it's more satisfying when I win. Yeah, all right, we did it. Double sleeve character card, double sleeve dark mount, double sleeve Straxus. Go. Let me grab my... I got some leftover sleeves in the binder, I think, for yonder little ones. Don't I? Where did I put those sleeves? Where'd you go? Don't think you can hide from me. I own you. You belong to me. All right, they're missing. I got some more over here, though, so we're all good. All right. What'd I miss? Drew C. The outer sleeve I'm using is the Tiny Epic Kingdom sleeve, with the Ultimate Guard Precise Fit as the inner sleeve. Grimlockamus, the second set confirmed. Any other obscure characters you want to see? Plenty. For small stars, actually, I'd love to see some, if it works, like mini-cons of some kind. I'm trying to think of ones maybe who are already in Generations that we could use. I'd like to see Drift. I feel like they gotta do Drift in Wave. If they did Deadlock in Wave 1, they gotta do Drift in Wave 2. Shtream, they have to... If you listen to the first interview that I did with Drew, in that one, if you've listened to it, you know that I basically immediately, about as soon as possible, brought up Omega Shtream and how he's better than Omega Supreme and that they should do him and how they could do Action Master Elites because they have 2 modes, etc. What I put on here, but this is a KMC Perfect Fit. That's what I use for my inners on all my Magic cards. I only double sleeve Magic and Transformers. Magic, I just put a Perfect Fit on everything, basically, and store them like that. For Transformers, I'm just being double weird because I like Transformers. Endertrot, yeah, that Minicon team from Thrilling 30 maybe could fit in here. Oh, that'd be kind of cool for mechanics. Anyway, my preferred outer sleeve right now, although it changes here and there, I'm really getting into Dragon Sleeve mats, and everyone loves them, but I really like Ultra Pro Eclipses, because it's double-sleeved. They have this, like, just straight-up buttery soft shuffle feel. It makes me happy. But yeah, you slip it in there, you get the air out. There we go, double-sleeved a card. I got my little learner decks. I got my quote-unquote starter decks I made to try to run this as a 2-player thing. But I'll show you... I wonder if it'll play on camera, on stream, the joy of double-sleeved Eclipse shuffling. Let's give this a try. So you take these, right? They're all double-sleeved in Eclipses. And you crack them, and then you go, and then you go, ugh. And, like, listen to this. Listen to this. Listen. Oh! It's that little when they go together. It's just so... It's so pristine. It's so choice. It's grade A. Yeah. I had to stick the cards in my mouth for a second. It was worth it. I missed a whole bunch... Action Masters as a tribe. Yeah, Grimlockamus with the reveal of Slammer being... All the stuff in that friggin' Metroplex set is just chock full of future mechanics, in my opinion. Like, deploying characters, Titans, one-sided characters, 4-star characters, friggin' so much stuff going on, like... Are you doing it wrong if you don't make those noises? No, you just, I like to extrovert my shuffling, is what I will say. I like to extrovert how I shuffle. It's completely fine to be a little more introverted with your shuffling. Anyway, I just wanted to sleeve these up because I know they need a sleeve, and I need to go through these and run them through my binders and see which ones fit into my my stuff. Do you think we'll see Metro? I think we're going to see all the TCG stuff in Canada. I just don't know when, but when we do, everything will then start coming out, is my assumption. And we've talked on, not with the official people, but I've talked on Twitter with other folks in a couple threads where the idea came up, like, what if Canada's, specifically Quebec's, bilingual laws have entered into this somehow? And I'm starting to get the feeling like that's the most likely thing. Like, there are card games that are sold in Canada, but I'm wondering if the nature of Transformers as a license has, like, specifically, or as an 8+ game, has created some kind of specific issue. Anyway, what my assumption, my educated assumption, is clearly they wanted to sell this game in Canada, and clearly they are running into problems unforeseen, is the impression I'm getting. So I just hope that they can get through it quick enough, because, I mean, like, speaking for myself, I've bought a hell of a lot of cards not in Canada. I still wish to support the game when it's out in Canada, but it's not going to be on, like, a very grand level, is what I'll say. But yeah, I really hope it comes out in Canada also, so I can more heartily push it. Like, I want to go to some of the gaming stores in Toronto and meet up with some friends and just play this game in a store, so people will gawk and go like, hey, that looks like a cool game, and I can go like, yeah, y'all should get the store guys to contact Wizards and go like, hey, we want to buy it. When can we buy it? But also, like, I like the idea of at least getting the game out to people who want to play it, who just literally can't right now. I saw something there I missed. Yes, that's right, Sean Crosser. I can be the snob at the LGS with the English only. There's no bilingual. My booster wrappers are English only. You don't... I should save one so I can, like... I go to my game and I'm like... Hang on. I'm like... Okay, well... That's the universe telling me this is a terrible idea, but I wanted to slap this down on the table so I could be like, behold my English-only card sources. What were your booster packs? Were they trilingual? Were they bilingual? What a mess I just made. Anyway. Friday Night Magic and Meeple Mart, except Magic is Transformers. Oh, yeah. So Mechanova King, the one bummer about Meeple Mart is they don't have I discovered them 2 weeks after they permanently closed their game space due to theft. So they only sell stuff now, they don't play stuff, which is a bummer because their staff are the most enthusiastic people I've seen for Warhammer Champions, Age of Sigmar Champions. Granted, that game is one where you can just scan the cards into an app and play it digitally, but I'm like, I also have these physical cards, I would like to play it with people who are way into this game, and they're all like, oh yeah, we don't play it here. And I'm like, well, find a place to play it. Yeah, one that is. ANC has a space. I actually talked to the ANC staff when I went to buy some pages. I was like, would you guys be cool if we played, like, a Transformers game in here? And they're like, yeah, just, you have to move if we have F&M happening. I was like, no, I get it. So hopefully, ANC is one of the places I really want to set up to play also because you don't have to pay to play in there, so I can cheapskate it. But I also told ANC, like, yeah, this is a good game, and when your suppliers make it able for you to order it, you should order some. Because ANC seems to be also, like, one of the places that's really into Weisschwarz, is it? Like, the anime-looking thing? I feel like a total jerk saying it that way. That's the way I tend to regard it when I see it. The anime-looking card game. I'm missing some stuff, I apologize. Arctic Umbreon, Weisschwarz, great game. All right, we got someone who knows the Weisschwarz. I don't know anything about it. I just know it's got some push at ANC. Force of Will, that's a word. Leno, Silver League, Weisschwarz is the anime crossovers. Okay, that's what I'm thinking of. Yeah, product licenses. It's like Weisschwarz and the Final Fantasy games kind of occupy a similar space in my mind because they also have very bleached packaging. Someone asked about Studio Series Devastator. What are the 8 robots? How will Mixmaster attach and see the head? I'm assuming Mixmaster, they're still probably going to stuff the head into the mixing drum in some way, so I'm guessing he'll just, like, shove into Wheelman up on the top. My thoughts on Studio Series Devastator is I'm feeling immense nostalgia for 2009 when I was thinking that toy line's Devastator might combine, and I was, like, looking for ways that it would work, and now it's like the same thing is happening, but I know he combines. So I'm pretty psyched for that. Like, it's kind of a silly robot design, but also, like, there's advantages to that design toy-wise where it's like I'm fascinated how it's going to combine, and also the individual figures don't have to sacrifice too much because Movie Devastator looks like a bunch of vehicles smashed together, and like so to the advantage of the toys, they don't have to hide like bipedal hands and feet in there, you know. I don't actually know what Force of Will is. I just know I've seen the logo. I'm not sure how it's doing. Oh, there's some talk words I don't recognize. I don't know what the Abyssal Fleet is. Or Cancoli. Cancoli? Did I say that right? Cancoli? I was talking about card games with a friend of mine getting a ride back from one of the toy shows, and he said he was into Weiss Schwarz for a while until, like, too many expansions came out. That's how I first discovered it. Lano Joe, I hella went to town on these cards. There ain't no evidence left that they were alive. Oh, did one of those MTG finance guys buy out Force of Will? That seems like a way to... That seems like someone who has too much money. Is that what that seems like the action of? Oh, Force of Will is a spiritual... Kaijudo is one of those names I saw in a shelf somewhere. Yeah, that's right. I crushed this box. Ain't nothing left. I actually should, for the sake of keeping this clean, I'm going to put the recycling into the cardboard box. So it's all in one nice place. Feels like I'm at a pre-release, just grabbing handfuls of booster and smushing them. Yeah, Weiss Schwarz, the packaging all looked like, man, if I already didn't have my fingers in all these other games. Like, Weiss Schwarz is the first one where I was like, I gotta not. But there seemed like some good licenses in there. Duelist with a Y. That sounds familiar. Hey. Listen, booster wrappers, you're literally a corpse. Don't start making trouble for me. Get in there. I'm getting this urge now. I'm going to save one. See what the Canadian... This is stupid. I want to save one of these now to see if the Canadian ones, whenever they do come out, do look different with other languages on them. I might throw that thing in the recycle before that happens, but now y'all got me inspired. Anyway, that's clean. Clean. Nice and clean. What did I miss? Sorry, clean up messes too. Next stream will be me unboxing a full shipment of soda. You know, with this setup... Okay, here's a little spoiler. I bought a lot of Soto Action Guardians, and not as much, but still a lot of Soto Action enemies. I have a lot of Guardians unbuilt. Should I just do a stream building some Guardians sometime? Because I thought about it, and then I was like, the only thing is, I don't want all my equipment in front of me that long, but if I do the stream with just this phone... Like, did this run okay? Because with just the phone here... I've got some angular play. And this is a lot less equipment hanging out in front of me. Like, if this looks okay... If this is acceptable looks-wise, and if the audio's okay, then, like, I might try that sometime. Oh, I mean, I had a picture of all my Exade soda, but that's when I had got in, like, 2 massive shipments from a middleman. I've built most of that now. Fishformers, yes, I want to do some TCG videos about deck techs and things. I'm going to do... If I do anything with tabletop gaming, I decided it's all just going to be more stuff under the video games series that I already started, because it's games. Drew C, I pulled 3 rares. I wish I pulled Grimlock. The rares I pulled were these 3. I pulled Scrapnel, Shockwave, and Darkmount. But yeah, I'm planning to do some more tabletop stuff, or at least TCG stuff, since I feel I have stuff I can more solidly say about this. If I was to talk about Magic, I would only really want to do gameplay, I think. There are people who like, I'm so... The only thing I thought that might be fun to do for Magic is next April, when it's the 1 year anniversary of me getting back into it, it would be kind of fun to discuss like my 1 year of being a newbie to Magic, because I've found some interesting experiences from it, just given the sheer number of players who I don't know how else to put it, who aren't new. There's a lot of things that kind of were interesting for me to go through that were maybe more rote for a lot of other people. Like an easy thing, I got into Magic with Dominaria, which was an excellent set. Discovering Dominaria was excellent by discovering how kind of mundane Core 2019 was interesting. Guilds of Ravnica is a pretty fun set, but like I don't have the nostalgic connection to Ravnica that so many others do. So it's interesting for me playing Guilds of Ravnica and not going like, oh my god, it's Lazav, you know? Like, I didn't know that was an established name from a previous set when I was playing in the pre-release. So, I don't know, I just feel like it would be fun to go through. Also, I mean, this whole Ultimate Masters thing has been fascinating to me in a more negative way, but it's been fascinating to me as I'm in the demographic who could have the most benefited from a good Masters modern reprint set at a reasonable price. That would have been a gateway for me to catch up with everyone else. And so for it to be so mishandled has been interesting from my perspective. I missed something there I was going to answer. What was it? What do I think of Planeswalkers? I think they're neat. I think the fiction behind them is interesting when when I realized that their lore summaries were also like over the course of years, this fairly brief story was told. Like when I read up on my vampire boy Sorin, because I got all the Sorins. I got all the Sorins for my my vampire EDH deck, because I just wanted to run all the Sorins with their dad as the commander. And then I read up on Sorin's story, and I'm like, so his story, over the course of a fairly long amount of time, kind of not a lot happened. Well, stuff happened, but a small amount of stuff happened. He ended on a cliffhanger, and that cliffhanger's years old now. Yeah, the Avengers Wizards. Like, I don't know. MTG's fiction is fascinating in how, like, the pace it comes out at, and what it's trying to do. Like, the whole thing of, like, this is the final story in the Nicol Bolas, legend. And I'm like, that dude's been your villain for, like, forever, though. Like, that's I don't know. It's interesting to me. Again, like, I hate using the same word all the time, but it's like getting into Magic this year and it being an anniversary year, so lots is happening. Like, it's been a very fun ride so far. Also, like I saw earlier in the chat, it's fun getting into Magic a whole lot, and I don't know. I like it when I get into something after someone's kind of gotten out of it, but they still sort of like it, because it does. It's not the first time I've seen someone say that, like, me being all enthusiastic like a baby about Dominaria is giving, like, this nostalgic feeling to someone who's kind of, jaded their way out of Magic already. And I feel bad because I don't want to, like, suck someone back in a negative way. Because, let me tell you, also, being into Magic for a year, it's a super easy way to see how people get jaded out of it. Like it can be a very cruel game if you don't sort of pick your spots, is how I'd put it. Like, you pick the things about it you like. Let's check in the chat over on the computer now. Anyway, yeah, the meat of the action of this is kind of done here. I opened all the boosters. I didn't know Embercool was a long-existing baddie either. The modern deck, I did spend a few months building a modern deck because I had Tron lands from when I was a kid. So I read up on Eldrazi Tron because I thought Eldrazi looked cool because I missed that whole thing. And Eldrazi Tron seemed like a doable deck to build, so I spent months every now and then getting one of the really expensive cards. It's been fun putting it together. But the problem is I barely played it because, like, I'm so friggin' daunted looking at Modern. Like, I don't want to waste people's time. Like, thank goodness, I got the impression ANC games, like, they have a lot of Modern, but, like, they have, like, hardcore Modern events and they have more casual Modern events. I gotta just go to one of the casual ones sometime when it lines up with what I'm up to and, like, just run it. Drew C, I absolutely feel Transformers is easier to deck build for, but, like, Magic being hard to deck build for is partly due to just how many cards there are. Face-to-Face has a lot of Modern going on, too. I just haven't... I feel so embarrassed saying it, but it's true. I haven't had the guts to walk into a Modern night, because, like, I have a Modern deck now that I'm happy with. It's kind of fun, but, like, I'm just gonna walk in there and it's I just feel like it's gonna be me wasting everyone's time. Because I don't know how a lot of the other modern. I watched some videos of how like Storm works and Affinity works, but like I don't know, like even Affinity, I mostly am thinking of the Pauper version. Oh, one that is. Thank you so much for saying. Yeah, one that says no worries. People are nice. Felt the same way. I just got to do it. Same thing with the Pauper Knights. Even like I had a lot of fun for a few months just like buying Pauper decks, like a deck, a month or something. And I have like 10 of them now. And I gotta actually go play some Paper Pauper with people. I played some at TFCon and it was super fun. In the hotel room. My throat feels a lot like it's been talking for a while. I need some of this. Everyone just slap their decks on the table. Yeah, proper. Drew C, if you're gonna buy Magic, buying it in singles is the single smartest way to do it. You buy Magic boosters to A, gamble, and B, feel the satisfaction of opening boosters if that's your thing. There is literally no other reason. Yeah, Baltan. I think I told you already, but like I got into Pauper partly because like Pauper is full of modern analogs that I had heard about, but it's also affordable and like I understand I could make proxies. I've tried making proxies. I hate making proxies. It's a bunch of busy work that feels like it's kind of for nothing. Buying singles is for cowards. Well, I mean, they also say cowards are the smart people. There's the thin line between being a bravery and being a dumb. That's an Optimus Prime line. It's true. Drew C, I haven't really talked about Siege yet. I haven't handled any, but like Siege looks like really fun toys as far as the robot modes, and that's like I really like the look of the Siege Voyagers and Leaders. The Deluxes, there's some real gems in there. It seems. I've seen chatter about how they're getting smaller, and I wouldn't disagree with that. It's not a hill I'd die on. It's just it doesn't bug me too much anymore. I think I got over the things getting smaller thing back in like 2013, but the Siege looks fun. I'm still way not into the weathering. I think that's the new factory applied stickers is the way I'd put it. The next things I want to do for Transformers, though, like especially since Siege isn't out in Canada yet, I really want to do overview videos for Power of the Primes and Studio Series because I know what I want to say in those. And Power of the Primes especially, I want to do an overview video because I want it to be like, because the last 2 times I did it, it was a Wave 1 overview. So I was like, all right, Wave 1 overview, and then like, oh, it's already done. Cut to black. Started up with a different front text. It goes like full line overview. Yeah, Blackhawk Omega, I got some RKFs. I saw they're going all in on the Genmu on RKF, and it's like, all right, y'all know what you're up to. Well, that's the thing. Like, you can say at least the weathering isn't factory applied foil stickers, but like, until I see it in person, it's making me feel the same way. Like, when I see it in person, I might feel better about it. It's just, in every photo, it's like, the things sticking out to me, where I'm like, oh, I wish that was gone, you know? Like, it's not, I'm not gonna, like, it's not ruining the line for me, and I really want to not harp on it a ton. It's just, like, it's a bummer to me that, like, we finally got rid of the factory stickers, but, you know, but, ... Yeah, and I know John Warden was way into the stickers too, and I feel like the problem wasn't the stickers, the problem was the factory applied part. And there's no way to really like tell that to a designer without just kind of like making them feel bad, I don't think, because like the designers at the end of the day, like, they tell the factory what to do, but there's eventually gonna be that disconnect. Like, I don't think in any situation I would like sit John Warden down, given the opportunity to go like, so those stickers in execution turned out pretty bad, huh? Because it's kind of like, I don't know. It's like telling someone they did bad when they aren't the one specifically who did badly. I don't know if that makes sense. If I'm quiet, I'm looking at the chat, and trying to resist just yelling at the phone while I'm doing so. What do I think was executed better? Chrome detailing on select transformers or weathered paint apps? God. Uh, I guess weathered paint apps. I feel like chrome detailing. I know people like it, or I know some folks like it a lot, and that's. I don't want to denigrate that. It's just my initial reaction to chrome is often it comes off cheaper to me visually. It makes me think of a lot of kind of crummy toys I had as a kid. And yeah, at least weathering won't yeah, I mean, that's the thing. Chrome chips, stickers, peel. Weathering is actually an application, I guess. Or does it so I haven't I'm kind of avoiding reviews of Wave 1 cuz I'm sort of looking forward to just going in blind whenever I find them. But like with the weathering, is the weathering painted or is the weathering plastic injected? That's the thing I've been kind of wondering about. Because I got the impression it's probably paint for the most part, but some of the weathering looked sort of like it might have been like speckles of other color plastic injected in during the production process. And like I know they've done that kind of thing with Iron Man toys or with Beast Hunters with the swirly plastic, so I was curious. Okay, chat's saying it looks like paint. That's not a bad thing. I was wondering ever since Toy Fair, like in practice, is this going to be actual plastic color stuff as well? Like, to be honest, I don't know if it would save money molding in, because I don't think I ever learned in any form if, because specifically, those it was Iron Man 3, I think, they did some toys where instead of paint apps, they just put in other color plastic into one single leg piece, and it actually looked kind of cool. But I never heard any form of answer about if that was cheaper or the same or more expensive than doing paint apps. Oh, Baltan too. Okay, Jurassic World does molding for that stuff. I love that idea. Like, I don't know, it just feels like future tech to me on a subtle level for toy making. Yeah, as a nerd for the making of toys, anyway, it kind of gets me excited. But yeah, Siege is. I'm going to say it to invite the quote unquote disaster of finding a bunch of it tomorrow, I guess. But like Siege seems very far off Canada wise. Like I'm expecting that'll be closer to December when it starts showing up. So I do not want to import any of it due to shipping costs. And it like every time I've imported a Wave 1 generations anything, I kind of feel bad later because like I see it everywhere and I think about how I dropped like retail plus international shipping on it, and I'm like, I don't want to do that. And I have plenty I can do here, as y'all probably are well aware from the inactivity for the last few months. There's all kinds of stuff I could do without having to go get new stuff. Oh, I love Siege Soundwave's vehicle mode. Soundwave's spaceship mode is a hill I will die on. I love the way that thing looks. And I also love that basically the Decepticon Intelligence Division, like Shockwave, Soundwave, and the Reflectors, all have spaceship modes. Like I imagine them all like cresting over the horizon of some poor planet to like just like from the atmosphere observe it and like get the invasion protocols going, like get phase 1 going. It gave me a lot of really cool mental images. If you want me to dunk on a vehicle mode though, and this one I know people actually would also die on a hill for. I just don't like it. I really like dunking on Siege Hound, because Siege Hound is like the least convincing it's a Cybertronian mode of all of those so far, because he's just a friggin' Jeep with like a smoother top part. But I'm like Hound ain't fooling me. That's a Jeep. That's a Jeep with like a plate on top. Like, yo, Hound, go sit down. You're late. You missed the Earth modes. You got here late. Own up to it. You jerk. Maybe I got Hound bias too. I don't know. Like, I even like Sideswipe's vehicle mode. I love Prowl's vehicle mode. But, like, Hound's Just keeps setting me off. For every time I see Hound, I'm just like, you aren't an alien! You liar! X Swordstone X, I do not have UT Challenger. I want to get one. It looks really good, and I love their lockdown. They had a bunch of TFCon, but like the price wasn't like different enough from getting it from China. So the thing I tried to do at TFCon was not buy anything that I know I might just like wait for an eBay coupon for. Like, all due respect to retailers, but it's just like I don't want to go to TFCon and just buy a metric buttload of stuff, come home poor, and then also not really mess with most of it for weeks. So like I kind of tried to stay focused on a few things there, and then one of them was Challenger. Although I watched a friend of mine buy one, which was a real tempting moment right in front of me. Just picking up a Challenger, and I was just like, oh, that looks really nice. I'd like one of those. So I'm going to pick one up. I don't know when yet. Based on pictures with third-party Deathsaurus has been the most appealing to me. Their aesthetic completely plays to my tastes, so I kind of am defaulting to the two MMC ones. I just like reformatted a lot. It's nothing against... Planet X is doing the other one, right? Like, Planet X's looks pretty cool, too. I just think, like reformatted always tends to do it for me with regularity, where, Planet X is more of, like, either I love it or I'm kind of feeling lukewarm on it, and I don't like feeling lukewarm on something that's expensive. Baltan, I also, I think, have unbuilt Tenkai Knights. I have a box of Tenkai Knights. I don't know what to do with it. I was going to try to sell it at a toy show, but then, like, it's a small enough box, and I was like, I have a weird-ass nostalgia for these stupid things, so I don't know what I'm going to do with them. I might put them all into a Ziploc bag and just throw it into storage. A few years from now, drag out the big-ass archival bag of Tenkai Knights. Johnny Whited, what did you just miss? You missed a massacre! That's what you missed. It's all in here now. What? All the evidence. I just knocked over... you might think, oh, did he knock over a stack of cards that he has to resort and repile? No, I knocked over this thing of all the packaging cards. These things don't matter. I just like them. I want to try making something out of these. Like, someone said a house of cards, and it's like, that's a joke, but also, I don't know, they're thick enough. Like, I could make, like, a box out of them with some duct tape. It's like, I don't know. I like art. I like doing arts and crafts. I got these bases for my Thousand Suns, and I used a power drill bit to put rare earth magnets in the bottom, and then I used a Sharpie to write which figure goes on which base, because I already drilled the hole for the feet. Black Hawk Omega, there was a Tenkai Knights anime, and I ended up never watching it. All I know is Johnny Young Bosch was in it, and that's literally all I know. If I can only get one, Studio Series Blitzwing or Dark of the Moon Soundwave in Studio Series. With Studio Series, I mean, I would probably be more interested in Blitzwing, but I would also yell at them until they made both, because I want it all. Studio Series has now made enough stuff that I feel justified to start pounding on the table like a child and saying, where's my 07 Megatron? So I want them to do everything. Terminus Hexatron, does he still hold up, in my opinion? I haven't thought about that figure in a while, so I'm not sure. Definitely the leader toy scratches the itch for most people. Hexatron, I think, is going to be more like, do you like the more edgy look of him? Like, I like him as a reformatted toy, less so than an actual, like, six-shot, I think. Is there a character he feels underrepresented in first or third party market you'd like to see more figures made of? Yes. His name is Omega Shtream. He's the best Transformers toy from the late 80s, early 90s. He's the better version of Omega Supreme. He's Omega Supreme's superior brother. And it's frustrating to me the 2 or 3 times it felt like we almost actually had a new toy for him. And then someone made a different decision. And whoever made that decision was a bad person at that time. Because they made the wrong decision! Life counters made from layering card to make a 3D looking effect. One that is a cool idea. For life counters right now, I've been using these. These are friggin' cool. You can't get these anymore. These are from someone named Orbits. I got into Netrunner and I've still never played it because it died right after I got into it and then became scarce. And I was like, oh, if I really like it, it'll be hard to track it all down. So I spent a while tracking down a lot of Netrunner, and I still haven't played it. And then I bought these things off Orbits. These are made the same way that like computer circuit board are made. These are credit chips, but they work well for damage counters, and they're super durable. It's like actual like plating on them. You know, they're kind of like coin heavy. I still never played Netrunner. I have friggin' some of Orbits' like character cards. This is as pieces of art. They're amazing. But I really need to actually play Netrunner. Will I do another Gundam kit review or V-Build? I need to build a Gundam kit. I don't think I'm going to film building it because I want to enjoy building it. V-Builds I want to do, but I want to figure out what I want to do them for. I don't want to make them elaborate work, because partly because I want to enjoy building stuff, and more scummily partly because V-Builds just don't really get that much traction, so I want them to not be massive undertakings to make. So I'll figure something out. I think that, like, doing them, like, as a stream again with, like, Soto stuff would work out. If that makes sense. Giant planet... Oh, I mean, more third-party Cybertron Galaxy Force would be a joy, regardless. I was just pushing some buttons, if you know what I mean. Netrunner is still cool. One that is, I really want to play Netrunner. I have to sit down and do it. I got a spare core, a revised core all ready to go. I also have, like, a lot of it to do some deck building once I understand it better. Silver Knight, masterpiece style punch counter punch. I mean, absolutely. I got the new one. I like the new one a lot. So I'm feeling like at least that itch has been scratched a little bit. It's catching up. My apologies. Have I played Overwatch? If so, who's my main? I played Overwatch off and on. My main's changed a lot. When Doomfist was new, I was actually having a good time with him. Usually I default to, like, Reinhardt, Doomfist, Bastion, Symmetra. Started to learn Mei a little bit. I like Symmetra a lot. Ezim, if you walk up to John Ward and ask about Omega Shtream, you're my hero. That's what I'll say. Alistar, there is a Transformers TCG. There is. I didn't make... That's not something I just made as a prop. Or is it? Adequate mail. You spent the stream building an HG Zaku. Excellent. I think there's something really cool and recursive to, like, a stream about messing with stuff being background noise to messing with stuff. Ezim, am I planning to try Keyforge? Oh my god, I keep flip-flopping on Keyforge because I'm pretty sure I'll like it, because I'm liking Richard Garfield, and there's events in town, like this weekend, there's a pre-release event where I could buy a deck or two, and I'm, like, thinking about it. It's just like I'm flip-flopping because I like the idea of Keyforge a lot. The thing that I keep stopping on is, like, the actual visuals are not resonating with me at all, and, like, I don't know. Like, I kind of want to, but also I maybe want an excuse to not. I don't know how to put it. Hey, there's Lego Overwatch now. I'm glad I've kind of dialed back from Lego. Oh, the Overwatch Ultimates Hasbro are doing feel like they're right up my alley, because the Figmas look good, but they're, like, just expensive enough that I don't like Overwatch enough to buy Figmas, but I maybe like it enough to buy Hasbro figures. Oh yeah, I like playing Orisa too. Thank you, Graham. Sleepy Buddha recently got to Super Mini-Paw, get a Robo. What are my thoughts on Mini-Paw? I like Mini-Paw for Sentai stuff. I think Super Mini-Paw is good, but it leans so much into part swapping for aesthetics. It's on a tactile level not really my thing. So I decided to skip most of it, not because I think it's bad, but because I think that I would prefer to buy other stuff. It's that whole thing I try to promote of like you can recognize something is good without also buying it, and that's one of mine is Super Mini Pla. I have some unbuilt Gundam still. I have an what is it? That fancy series RG. I have an RG unicorn, and I have Tryon 3 that I've now owned for 2 years, and I still have to build. Those are kind of my two. Yeah, the Keyforge price is also part of where I'm like, even if I hate the game, it's like 15 Canadian bucks, and I can get a deck and try it. But then I'm like, what if this turns into a thing? I don't think RG Unicorn is like punishment for myself because I enjoyed building the original Unicorn model, the Katoki, and everyone told me that thing's a nightmare, and I was like, I like doing this. So then everyone I talked to said, oh yeah, the RG is a way better experience than the Katoki you build. So I'm like, all right, Katoki, right? It's Verka. That's. I don't know if I'm getting it wrong now. Yeah, it's right there, adequate mail. Everyone basically says, if you built the MG, you'll love the RG. And I liked building the MG, so I'm all set. Alistar, I am super interested in Monster Apocalypse because I got way into original Monster Apocalypse, and then no one in my province back in BC played it. And I was so bummed out. And now people seem to be way more into the new one. So once I get some more of my Kill Team stuff painted, I want to kind of dig my teeth into new Monster Apocalypse a bit. Also because it seems to have a very low point of entry, and I like low point of entry things. Graham, I think it was you that bought it, because I'm pretty sure I bought my unicorn here in Toronto. Yeah, Boltan, new Monster Apocalypse is out. They got 2 starters, and then they got stuff out for the Cthulhus and the Ultramen as well. So, like, it's robots, Ultramen, Cthulhus, and Gorgadra are all out. Nick Knight 95, if you're still here and you're tapping out because it's 4 in the morning, good on you. That's a good time to tap out. I should probably call it in about 12 minutes so I can grab something to munch on and then start winding down. Yeah, Planet Eaters and Cthulhu are the first 2 factions for Destroyers that are out. Well, like, I call them Ultramans. It's the Shadow Syndicate. They basically are basically an entire army of Ultramen, but technologically powered. Lego Ideas Voltron looks like a very good Lego kit and not like a super amazing robot toy, and that's how I decided to skip it, because I have already got I really got over Lego for myself. Like I said again, Lego is good. I had too much of it that I wasn't engaging with, and so I've kind of gone cold turkey on a lot of Lego. And then I was gonna break that with the Voltron. I looked at how it worked, and then like Super Mini Pla, I was like, wait a second, like there's stuff about the Voltron combination that is cool, but stuff about it that just doesn't feel satisfying to me, and it's expensive, so I am going to just spectate it. Hi there, Goofy Goof. You searched for TCG and found me. Aha! Breaking into new markets. Ugh. Ignore that. Get back in the... Yeah. Oh, by the way, while I'm here, before I go, I'll show you guys what I'm doing for carrying decks around, because this thing's been shown as an option for fitting oversized cards, and I want to show how I made it work. Get out of my way. So, where was that deck I had? So what I've been doing is... Let's get this whole demonstration set up. So I got one of these things. Oh, Goofy Goof, I got 2 copies of this, and I've been trying to find these forever, and that's really good. And I got a new rare I don't have, and I got a couple rare dupes that I can hopefully trade or sell. But I got one of these Ultra Pro oversized deck boxes with the really garbage insert inside, and so I took the insert out. And so what I'm doing now is I make a deck, right? And I had these Planeswalker decks because I bought Dominaria everything, basically. And then I tried doing that for Core 2019, and that taught me that I should only do that for Dominaria. Luckily, double-sleeved, a 40-card Transformer deck fits into here with room for a little baggie of tokens. So I kind of slipped that in as well. And then close that up. And it's not like bulging the box or anything. And then this thing, you flip it open, and so I can fit 2 decks and a bunch of character cards in here, and then I got these top loaders, and I was like, oh, is this going to work with the top loaders? It totally works with the top loaders. So I have 2 decks and 6 characters in there, probably with room to make it 8 characters if I really needed to. These are my starter decks I made, by the way. I still have to test them. They're based on some older ones I made. So it's like, rare. It's Starter Bumblebee, Common Prime, Common Cup, Common Starscream, Common Megatron, and Flame War, with some decks kind of built around cars and truck stuff for them, and built a little bit around Pierce for them. And that's kind of what I've been going for. I want to try that out to see if that works as, like, learner decks. Because I figure, like, hey, if someone hasn't played the game yet, and I've got 2 decks, an Autobot one and a Decepticon one, the Autobot one's kind of straightforward, the Decepticon one's more complicated, but more, like, punchy. Like, it seems like basically, if someone had never played the game, I'll run Decepticons, and then just walk them through the game. The Autobot deck is kind of built so that if I'm teaching you the game, I can also, in a clean way, kind of lose to it without, like, you know, just obviously throwing the game. I can still beat it, but it means that, like, I found when I have demoed the deck the 1 or 2 times, one of them actually being my mom while she was visiting, it made the other player feel very satisfied and like they were learning stuff. Anyway, I also like that it all fits in here and that I had space to write Transformers on the top with a Sharpie. Also, this box was like $3.50 at Meeple Mart. Just the insert for it. The insert was a bummer. I think it's still around here somewhere. Yeah. The insert was this. And, like, as you can see, right, the idea is the insert lets you have 2 decks in the spot for the oversized cards. This insert is just small enough to not hold 40 double sleeve cards, and so everything was getting bulgy, the decks were swapping sides, it was a mess, cats and dogs raining from the sky. I'm happy that I was able to get this to work, though, because I like this outer box a lot. Yeah, Tony, that insert was some crap. Thank goodness it just comes right out. State of that insert. Yeah, this is our boy. It's the insert. What's up, everybody? Who wants to go play some cards? I will carry 2 decks for you, I promise. Oh, really? How well? Not very well. Good box, though. Can't fault the box. Let's see. Resonance Titan Gundam just says NPM Dinobot. That is sure a toy. It's a big toy. Oh no, they found out Boltan's here and he's doing the laugh. Now we're all gonna die. He's gonna knock the city over. Who's gonna be the one who's gonna drop the shua? That's been my secret Ultraman thing. I kind of dialed back on the fig arts, because friggin' Shodo Ultraman is an experience. That is a good line. That's one of those things, like, god damn it, why have I not talked about that yet? I need to get over my hump and just, like, make videos about it. Anyway, where are we at? I got about 5 minutes left before I should cash out. Ah! So I'll say again, thank you for chilling for this stream. This was fun and makes me feel better about doing some more streaming, especially this setup here with this it's a phone on an articulated arm with some my usual lights over top. This is very comfortable to stream with, and it, you know, I already asked this and you said yes, but yeah, if the picture's good and if the audio's good, then I'm happy with this. By the way, from my first booster box, I did film a vlog of the last 5 boosters where I pulled one of these for the first time. I haven't released it yet because I filmed that while I was still in that complete dead zone, and I felt awful about the idea of putting up a vlog of opening some boosters when I hadn't put up a review in months. So now that I put up the one review, I'm gonna roll that vlog into another one sometime. Also, last night I finally friggin' he's not gonna fit in shot, but I finally filmed the transformation on that Fans Toys Mind Wipe. So that's my next thing I want to get. I want to do that, and I want to do Stealth Azalea, who is over here. I want to do those two next. And then just sort out stuff from there. I'm kind of avoiding planning, because planning always makes me just start looking at the planning, and I get daunted, so I'm kind of just rolling, you know? That's what I want to do more, is just roll, just do stuff. I am, even when I say I'm going to stop overthinking things, I just start overthinking things, so I gotta more consciously not overthink things. Goofy Goof, we will try to keep up TCG talk when we can. Like, now that we've played a lot of it, and we really buried TJ in TCG talk, it's going to be more like, how many more times can we get the Wizards dudes to come on? Because thankfully, they seem to enjoy coming on for those supplementals. And the TCG ones I will definitely cross-post here as well. But the two that we did were really fun, and it's also really great hearing from the people working on the game in a way where they're so eager to talk about the game they work on. And yeah, adequate mail. I would like to do more streams like this, for sure. Do I think a virtual TCG version of Transformers would ever happen? I don't think it's out of the question, but I think it's completely not on the table right now. Wizards does not seem to have PlayFusion's tech to have, like, that much integration. PlayFusion are doing Age of Sigmar Champions, where you can literally scan your cards in to use them in the digital game. And I wish more companies had that, because it's amazing. I really like that technology. But I got a feeling that Transformers, also because it's aimed at ages 8+, is probably going to remain paper for now. I feel like Wizards doing digital is mostly focused on Arena, or, MTG Arena. So, I mean, I'm not an expert at all. It's just how I feel. Like, I don't feel like digital versions of this is going to be on the table anytime soon. And I super feel for people who don't have anyone to play with. Like, I've gotten that comment on the Metroplex video, the Metroplex interview, more than once. And I'm like, I literally don't have a solution other than people have made a plugin for Tabletop Simulator with this game. But, that doesn't really answer the question necessarily. That's right, Mechanova King. Never plan, just do stuff. Plans never work. Plans are the devil. Plans are how you let Satan in. Let's see if I had anything else that was interesting to talk about. Oh, one thing I was thinking of doing, run this by y'all. So for Stealth Azalea, before I do like a full-on review, the new version of Chill Formations I want to do is kind of like just transforming the toy back and forth, but also like kind of in a chill setting, kind of commenting on the transformation as an experience, because I always end up truncating a lot of that for the reviews, but I have a lot of thoughts on transformation as an experience. So I wanted to shift Chill Formations into being like, we're going to transform this back and forth, but I'm also going to kind of talk through it, in a less loud, ballistic way, in a more laid-back way. And I was thinking of doing it with her first, also because I think her transformation's really good, and it feels like there's still a lot of question from people who haven't handled the toy as to, like, how the transformation is. She's peeking out there. But, like, I like this transformation a lot. And I think I started on this at the start of the stream and then got distracted. But I messed with someone else's Fans Toys RC, and that transformation was, like, 3 really good acts of transformation, but the 2 moments of crossing from act to act were horrible. Because it was like, really good bit of transformation. Okay, how do we get to stage 2? Put it all onto articulated sticks. Okay. We're on stage 2, this is really good. Now how do we get to the final stage? Put it all on long articulated sticks. Like, it was a classic example of a transformation that felt machine designed as opposed to having any artistry to it, and it bummed me out because Fans Toys RC had a lot of artistry in in the middle of all that, like all these really cool bits of artistry inside the process with just the most dead machine boring connective tissue. And so Fans Toys Mind Wipe is like, he's easy to transform. He transforms kind of simply, but in that, I find his transformation kind of awful because it feels 100% machine derived. His transformation comes off like it was algorithmically generated. Like, these parts must rotate, so there's a little lever on each side of the leg so the middle of the leg can turn. Levers come back down. This part must go here, so there is a tab here and a slot here. And whereas on some transformations it feels like a smooth process that's happening, etc., on Fans Toys Mind Wipe, it just felt like a computer dictating instructions, if that makes sense. It's like a very fine line a transformation can walk, especially in a third-party toy. And like Mind Wipe's a great example of it. Fans Toys RC was like one of the most tragic examples of it, because were it not for those two moments of like, it's all on extending tubes and sticks, I would have said that toy has a good transformation. Instead, it's like there's parts of it, there's good ingredients in this burger, but the bun is terrible, or the cheese is terrible, if that makes any sense. Which Transformer has the best transformation? I have no good answer to that, because I would immediately, like, as I'm answering that, another me would run in and punch me out and start giving a different answer. It's more like, I have opinions on what make for good transformations, and I could probably come up with examples of it. But even then, like, a good transformation, there's different flavors of it. There's the good simple one, there's the good fast one, there's the good complicated one. Masterpiece Dinobot, I would say, is a good complicated one. But like, and these are not the best ones. These are just ones I've really liked. Like Generations Thrilling 30 Orion packs. I think incredible transformation for that size and for the delivery. Mastermind Creations Tarn is always one of my favorites in third-party stuff, because Mastermind Creations Tarn, Kultor, is like all the good, satisfying parts of a transformation with none of the connective tissue. Like where Fans Toys Rogue has this awful connective tissue, or other toys might have connective tissue that's at least subtle or it's quick. Kultor just doesn't have any. You just go from and he's a robot. Like, that's the way that's always how I try to describe it. And then, like, I start coming off all like a hippie, because I'm like, it's like this in the movement, and it's like and it's like just describe it, buddy. And I'm like, I can't. It's art. The Switchblade one-step changer, one of my favorite one-step. That's an excellent one-step changer. Evasion Prime, really good transformation as well. I think that one, I like that transformation, but it does falter in the part where it has that one complicated moment when everything's turning inside out, where if you don't do it quite right, you do totally get locked up, and you're like, I actually don't know where to go from here. Also, T30 Orion, from 30 Orion packs, friggin', how did that never get a redeco outside of one time at BotCon where they did a couple colors? Like, blows my mind. Millennia 0007, what do I consider connective tissue? I guess, like, the transition from transformation moment to transformation moment. Like, MP36 Megatron has connective tissue, but that toy and MP Sunstreaker, I feel, are really good at weaving the connective tissue into the major steps, so that the connective tissue is kind of happening. It happens while you're doing the interesting stuff, and you maybe don't even notice it's already started happening when you go to do the connective tissue, I guess. Like, I don't know if I would even say I have a hard definition for it. It's more like a concept of the experience. You're not seeing. Now I'm leaning back too far, but I was waving my hands like this a whole bunch when I was saying that. Azrael Solicito, will I get STC-01 Supreme Tactical Commander? Is that the TFC one that goes with the Diaclone stuff that looks like a G.I. Joe vehicle? Because if that's the one, it looks pretty cool. I don't know if I want to, like, go out of my way to buy it, like, super fast. That might be something I wait on, see how it turns out. I think it looks neat. Like, I wish I could more clearly define what I'm talking about, but like when I start talking about connective tissue or like hand feel, there's like a very, I'm still trying to learn the language to describe that, I guess. Because it's like those terms come from me wanting to talk about the experience of like a transformation or an articulated toy on a more granular sense than just saying it's good because it does this or it's bad because it's hard, you know? Like it that panel I like doing, why do we enjoy the toy? Like a lot of that kind of stuff also comes from like wanting to, because I really love action figures and toys as a hobby and as a medium, and I'm like I don't want to like turn it into like highfalutin talk, which I think I come off as sometimes, but like I just want to be able to talk about it more like I'm trying to think of a better word than granularly, but like just with more flavor, I guess, that's more descriptive. Yeah, it's like, sorry, I'm just going off of where you said, is it like how tactile, user friendly a transformation is? Doesn't have to be a defined thing. Like in a way, yeah, like user friendly even. Like I used to really kind of crux on user friendly, and it's like it doesn't even have to be user friendly so much as like enjoyably complicated if it's like MP36 Megatron is kind of one of my favorite examples. That and NPM Dinobot of like they're not easy, but I think that they're very good in how they're doing it, as opposed to what's an easy example? I haven't messed with it, but from what I saw of like Alien Attacks version of movie 4, movie 5 Optimus, where it's like or you know, unfortunately a lot of fans toy stuff where I feel like the transformation is more of an exercise that you're supposed to go through than something that you're supposed to enjoy as an experience. And I'll throw it out there too. I should say it up front. Fans Toys Phoenix, their Skyfire is excellent. It's a really good toy, and I want to know whatever the hell happened to whoever made that. You know? Because I guess a lot of this also cruxes on my kind of statement that like I do not believe that there are. I think that for toys, it's become proven to me that like, well, obviously there's like some objective faults. Like, does the toy literally explode? Is there like, you know, lead in the paint? Is there a joint that will shear itself to pieces with 99% regularity? Obviously, but like when it comes to the qualities of something or like, you know, a good transformation or a good articulation, there's so much subjectivity to it. It's less about identifying is it good or not, and it's more like identifying what flavor is it, and then when you decide to look at it in the lens of that flavor, does it stack up pretty well? Does it stand out? Are there things that do what it does but better, etc.? This is the thing I don't know. As someone who thankfully still has kind of a little soapbox to stand on and shout stuff on here, that's kind of the as far as toy collecting, those are the things I really like to try to push. Is like thinking about figures in a way where it's about your satisfaction, and embracing the subjectivity of that. Dan Magnowski, how are the polls? Not bad. I finally friggin' got Start Your Engine. Those were my rares. It's pretty good rares. Yeah, Millennia 0007. Like, I think it's amazing that we got IDW-centric, like, friggin', like, Alex Milne art-derived toys in the first place. That still blows my mind. Like, I feel like, for now, that ship has kind of sailed officially. Like, that's going to be something you look to, unofficially for the time being. One that is, if I considered animation vocabulary, maybe too obtuse with physical things like Transformers. I need an example. I think I know what you mean, but like, give me an EG on that, because I kind of get it. Spitor 47. I have not built Gunpla in a while. But for years I've had some unbuilt Gunpla, and I always look at it and I go like, am I supposed to film this? And I don't build it. So some of it I think I just want to build. But I built Mini-Pla more recently. Oh, nice, Dan Magnowski. So you finished off Seekers. I like playing planes in this game. Dylan Tooley, TFCon Los Angeles. I would like to. Darn, it's weird that they announced it for, like, basically next week, is how it feels. That was a fun organizer panel, because at the organizer panel in Chicago, there were, like, 3+ people all basically going, like, when are you going to do it on the West Coast? And eventually they were like, you guys got to stop asking when it's on the West Coast. We've had that question, like, 3 times. And then that panel ended with the reveal of, like, also it's going to be on the West Coast. Please ask me anything about floor polish. It's delicious. Odds of getting a new Sunstorm toy. Well, they're doing a new Seeker, right, for Siege. So that's like 18 potential repaints now on the table. Graham, hit me up on Twitter. I might be down for some gamins, but I got to see how I feel tomorrow. Tomorrow might be tiring. Depends on what I'm doing. Oh, Dan, nice. You got a Sunstorm in a pack. I still haven't seen Sunstorm. Opinions on Captain Huffy. All I really know is that... Okay. Is that Mech Fans Toys Huffer? Or is that the Bad Cube orange and black original design Huffer? Suddenly there were a lot of Huffers and I was very bad at keeping up with them. Millennia 007, if you're leaving it for a day to cure and it starts flaking off, you might be putting on a bit much. If it is still staying tight, then the flaking off isn't necessarily bad, because that means it's just grinding down to the right shape. But I would say go thin first. Oh, Bad Cube Captain Huffy, so the black and orange one. I haven't picked it up yet. I love that Bad Cube is actually acting upon their original designs. I think that that's very forward-thinking. I think it's gutsy to see another company actually doing stuff that isn't slot fillers, and I wish more companies were doing that. I have not yet watched Superhuman Samurai Cyber Squad Gridman. I'm waiting for episodes to build up so I can kind of binge it. That's just how I am with anime and kind of how I am with non-writer toku. The Transformers references are cute. I'm getting a little bummed out that it seems like for a lot of folks that is the conversation, because I feel like that's kind of letting down Gridman, if that makes sense. But, you know, at a certain point that becomes very gatekeepery of me, and it's not really my problem. It's not really my business. I'm more interested in the show for Gridman, if that makes any sense. Lord McBastard, how's my mother? She's doing okay. She's got, stuff going on. I kind of wish the universe would give her a break, is the way I would put it, without getting too TMI. But she's doing all right. I was just talking to her earlier. She was visiting briefly last week. I thought she was visiting longer, because usually when my mom comes by, it's for a certain amount of time, and then I forgot she was up to something else out of province, and then swung back through here on her way back. But we still managed to go and grab some good stuff. There's a really good Mexican place in Kensington Market, those of you local. It's called, where's the card? I just always remember it as the Kensington Market Mexican place. But they do really good tacos, al pastor, and they also have a torta version. They got some really good chicharron de queso. It's a fantastic place. I know where it is, I just always forget the name. Shadow of Important, what's my thought on those updated Zone figures? It's amazing retooling, and I'm glad that they're having fun with it. That seems like fun stuff. I want to get it. Yeah, Lord Bastard, I'll give her your best. I gotta text her. Now that she's back in that time zone, it's easier for me. I gotta see how she's doing. Nothing like imminently horrifying. It's just like, I don't know. You know the feeling, right? Like when your loved ones and your family, you're kind of like, you just wish you could like take the cosmos by the throat and go like, "Yo, this is me saying it. Give them a month. All right? Go bother someone else." That's also one of my problems. One of my neuroses is I tend to like I get very how do you put it? Very vengeful when loved ones are being in bad situations, and thus I want to kind of anthropomorphize bad fortune. Um, if that makes any sense. Anyway, I get more worked up over other people's misfortune than my own, and it's probably not very healthy. Uh, Even if it's coming from probably a positive place. El Rey or Tortillera? No, it's oh, I remember. It's El Trompo. El Trompo is the place. Trompo. Look it up on Google Maps. If Kensington Market's in your area, like that place is friggin' solid. I go there with my lunch. My lunch. Hey, I go there with my brother for lunch sometimes. Is what I meant to say. Those nerdy Armstrongs, you totally do the same thing about misfortune. Yeah, it's like, it's silly. I feel like I get angrier at anthropomorphized concepts and inanimate objects than I do actual people. And I guess the positive is I'm not getting angry at actual people, but also I'm getting angry at things that are literally incapable of anything, reciprocation, emotion, anything. It's like yelling at a broken cup or something. Like, it's very silly. What are my opinion on Crossfire EX2 Quake? Is that the tiny shockwave that came with Fans Projects Bruticus? Because I thought the thing was kind of neat. I feel like, off the top of my head, I feel like I wish it had done 2 or 3 more things, but I no longer remember what. I bought one single off someone ways back. Yeah, Nerdy Armstrong's yelling into the void. It's like, if only the void would just show me its face so I could friggin' punch it and see it be sad. He said, finally vocalizing the words of a homicidal maniac. Dylan Tooley, what I consider Inventa Magna by MMC to be the chug scale. I think chug scale is so subjective, it's more do you think it is? And if you do, then I'll tell you, yes, it is. And if you don't, then I'll shrug and go like, okay, I guess it's not. Like, it's more, when it comes to that scale, it's more like I just want to make people, like, I want to reaffirm someone's opinion. Because I don't really, when it comes to neoclassics, I never really, unless it's egregious, it's not really something I'm thinking about. One that is, I've seen those rage rooms, and all I can think of is how disappointing it would be that, like, once you flip the table over, it's flipped over. And, like, they gotta make me a rage room where I can push a button to unflip the table instantly so I can flip it again. Because I think I'd need a couple flips to really get it out, and, like, I don't know. I guess they could set up a bunch of tables. TB-style toys, I thought I'd be more into this, but, like, it's the combination of they're not doing the TB designs I actually liked, and also, when the one artist who worked on TB said, this is actually going to make it difficult for me to get work some places, I didn't know I was signing up for something that could turn into toys, I felt really guilty afterwards, because I was one of the people going like, oh, T-Beast is beautiful, I own both dojins, people should be making toys of this. But also a big part of it is they're making like all these quadrupeds and an Optimus Primal, and I was like, the quadruped G1 guys and the Beast Wars guys turning into robotic beasts is like neat, but like I want the snapping turtle Blitzwing. Like that's the thing I'm really looking forward. I don't know. It's right, Millennia 007, double-sided tables where it just lands. I'm just sitting there flipping a table over and over again. Yeah, Sean Crosser. Anger sucks, in my opinion. Like, I know there's kind of like a romanticization of it in our generation, or what I would call our shared generations, those of us online into, YouTube stuff, but like, generally anger makes me feel in the moment at best it's maybe a little satisfying, but that's immediately followed by feelings of embarrassment, guilt, just like feeling gross, like just dirty with it. I don't like it very much. Like, I used to be sold on the whole idea of like, how cool it is to be so your anger is something to be feared, and it's like, that's badass until you actually do it, and then it's like, nah, no, actually, I just feel like an asshole. I've talked about this on the WTF podcast in response to increasing masterpiece prices. I'm fine with it because there's so much stuff aimed at collectors that's also not that expensive that like that is just masterpieces little wheelhouse now. And I couch that by also saying I'm absolutely not implying people should just buy the expensive toys, and I fully respect that there are folks for whom a $300 American piece is like just out of the question. Um, it's just that, like, I think that if Masterpiece was dialing back, it would be to an overall detriment that at some point would make one question what's the point of Masterpiece if we've got generations, if that makes any sense. And I've had the response to the podcast where someone said, well, it's more about the aesthetic of Masterpiece than the physical price point necessarily. Like, because like when one says, well, you could just get Generations if you want cheaper collector toys, and it's like, yeah, but Siege is in Masterpiece, or Generations is more comic-ish, or more neoclassics than G1. And I'm talking about Masterpiece outside of the movie stuff, because Studio Series versus Movie Masterpiece, I think, is almost a different conversation, where I feel like Movie Masterpiece is having a hard time justifying itself, because Studio Series is doing so much that's just the same. But yeah, for like Beast Wars and G1 stuff, it's like they're doing stuff like Masterpiece Dinobot, MP36 Megatron, Masterpiece Sunstreaker. They're all doing stuff with that high price point that I feel justifies it. And it's easy to say that and come off like I'm saying, so you should just suck it up and get it, because I'm not. I absolutely do not want to just tell people like you should buy $300 toys. I just feel it satisfies that price point in a way that I really like seeing, I guess. Like, oh, I think Studio Series definitely does have a ceiling it runs into. Like really easy example. Bumblebee movie, Volkswagen Bumblebee. The Studio Series toy is neat. But it's super duper suffering for being a deluxe. Like, he's wearing a good backpack, but that's still a hella backpack he's wearing. If that makes any sense. Juso Man, yes, we just made them. I hope you like them. We put a lot of work into these. Me and the chat, we crafted up this whole set ourselves. Millennia 0007, I don't think like Siege toys are Generations toys. They'll be hard to find until the end of December, and then Wave 1 will be everywhere right after the last person who ordered some off eBay gets them shipped. Because that's Murphy's Law. But it is a main line. I think it will be everywhere. There may be waves that are harder to find regionally, but like as Sean Crosser just said, it's the Wave 1 problem that always happens, where like with Generations right now, it's a regular thing. Wave 1 is found in some places, but it's really hard to find. People start to get worried. People start paying extra to, get their friends who do find it to grab it, ship it to them, buy it online when it shows up, grab it immediately because the hype is there. And then once everyone is kind of sick of Wave 1 then also becomes plentiful on shelves. And then everyone's kind of just like waiting for Wave 2. So I don't think Siege is going to be impossible to find. It just may be hard to jump onto when, for instance, the reviewer zeitgeist is going on. Oh, Juso Man, if you're not in Canada, the Transformers TCG should be out most everywhere. If you're in Canada, then yeah, it's harder. I'm just catching up on the chat. Yeah, I think Siege is just gonna have those little chapters that happen, like when everyone starts trying to grab all the reflectors. It's reflector may become scarce, or reflector will be scarce for a month, and then once everyone has three, then like a whole new shipment of that wave will come out. And I'll say here, since I said it on the podcast, but I know not everyone listens, like with reflector, bear in mind Japan is getting Siege as well, and the current pattern is Japan just gets our toys. So it may be like an extra $5-10 depending where you go. But if you really want to find extra reflectors, he will be out in Japan some months later, and you can most likely secure a pre-order of a couple of those if you're extremely worried. Like I don't think it'll be hard to get reflector if you start going into Japan's releases. Oh my god, I'm on fire! I did get my punch counter punch. I like him. I like him a lot. He's got loose hips. I got to fix them. The ball sockets are loose, so I just gotta floor polish them up. Oh god, Dan, you found a half battle trap. That's a bad feeling. Do I think Endertrot? Do I think Generations may ever take a stab at Transformers Prime? I feel like there will be an era where at least someone writes it down. Should Generations do animated in Prime? I feel like that's going to be a ways off, though. Right now, Transformers is being run by some folks who friggin' love the back half of G1. So I feel like because Prime and animated, even though like it's been 10 years since animated, but like or since it started, I feel like the people who would really passionately push for that stuff, we gotta wait for the people who grew up on that to hit their 20s and 30s and start working places, is what I get the feeling of. If someone only finds half of flywheels, that's because some jerk friggin' returned half of one to Walmart. Like those Marvel Legends figure swappers. Oh, Silver League. Yeah, my punch counterpunch's thigh mushrooms were hella tight. Like they started working okay. But like one of them worked great. The other one was super tight, and then I just kind of ground on it a bit, and it was fine. But yeah, those things were kind of weird. Mega Doragon, Dancitron. I'm very much hoping to check out Mega Doragon, if that's the Perfect Effect one, because I think it looks sexy. The Car Robots is getting like a touch of love with Siege. Sorry, this is to Dan. Like Siege Ultra Magnus is basically using the Car Robots God Magnus truck cab. So here's a little throwback, I guess. The trilogy's approach to Generations, I guess we'll see when the second one ends, is kind of how I'm feeling. Beast versions of Hot Rod, like, it's cool. But that's, like I said, that's kind of my least favorite T-Beast stuff, is the quadrupeds. Are there any special rare cards? Yeah, there's a bunch. There's two super rare character cards. One of the Bumblebees and Nemesis Prime. There's also some rares. These three are rares. Character cards, there's no real guarantee as to how you're going to get them in your booster boxes because they're just one per pack. The packs come with a more set rarity layout for the battle cards, which are like the things you actually shuffle up. Yeah, TB's Blitzwing is the stuff. That's the one I want to see. That's the one that got me to buy 2 TB Dojins when I found them on Mandarake. Anyway, I gotta close this up. I gotta go and do some late dinner and then go and set myself up to pass out. But thank you all for hanging out. Boy, that was long. But that was fun. So yeah, we should do this again. If I don't do it again, then poke me and say, hey, you had fun doing that. This is how you do it. You poke me and you go, hey, you had a lot of fun doing that stream. You should have fun again. And I'll be like, oh, if you're telling me I can have fun, then I guess I should. I guess I should say it, by the way, cause I know there's two Toronto folks in here. Like, we should friggin' play some of this game somewhere sometime. I'm terrible at setting up any kind of social stuff, but I want to try. So I don't know. A and C seem like they're okay with just like kind of strolling in and using the tables, but I absolutely like I've got lots of cards, so I'm able to make some, like you saw, I can make multiple decks, so I'll set some stuff up. So I'm ready to go. I'll have it all in my pocket. But yeah, as for stuff coming to the channel, Mind Wipe should be the next thing. I friggin' hope. And then hopefully at least a Chill Formations for this one. And then after that, like I gotta write them, but I would really like to do those. Ooh, you're getting blinded. Those overviews for Studio Series and Power of the Primes. I think they're gonna end up being kind of goofy more than anything else, but they're fun. Just missing some stuff here. But yeah, thank you all for chilling out. I'll say it here just in case it's not said enough, but end of the day, if I do seem like I'm disappearing, I am always around on Twitter, at least skulking around and lurking. And I'm going to try to use the social feed on here on YouTube some more, because I just didn't know it was really there, and then a few times I used it, I only started to figure out, like, it never tells me when people reply to my posts on there, and I go and look, and there's, like, between 8 to 34 replies, so I'm going to actually go check those things, but I'm going to try to use the social feed posting on YouTube some more as well, to just share, like, text updates and stuff. I don't want to lose contact with folks on here, and just keep making the assumption that I'm sure they're all following on Twitter. I'm gonna use this system some more too. Also, holy crap! Listen to that tired voice. That's when I should go and just record some audio. Go like, hey everyone, welcome. We got us something good going on here. We're going to do us a little toy review. We're going to talk about Shadow Azalea. It's like RC, but if she was like a real jack-o'-lantern monster. Oh, that feels gross. Yeah. Adequate Mail, it is super encouraging that there's folks who just keep like dropping in and going like, hey, it's good to see you again. Like, it helps a lot. And also, I had a moment the other week where I think the slump is also dying because, like, one of the things that like my brain will manufacture to screw it. Just to close this up, I'll share this story. One thing my brain manufactures just friggin' screw with me is the whole idea of like, even if you make it, they're gonna hate it. They're all done with you, and like that's really demonstrably not true, 100%. But I had one of those comments on that video I put up, which was kind of one of those like depressing comments of like, this just doesn't feel good anymore. But instead of reacting like, you're right, like I know I have reacted before, my reaction was like, you're wrong. I feel great. And like, I haven't felt that way in a while, in regards to like making media about stuff. Like I enjoy making it, but I would always feel like I like doing this, but no one else is really going to like it. And I feel like that was sort of finally starting to stop being like, molasses in my joints. So I don't know. I'm feeling chipper about stuff than usual. So yeah. ASMR. Oh boy, Spittor47, thanks for chilling out that long. I'm sorry about the goatsy joke from back then. That was real poor. Especially if you were that young. Yeah, JR. It's like you go through a slump and then you feel good afterwards, and it's like, it's trying to, I find anyway, in my experience, trying to remember that feeling of the slump going away and how good things feel is really helpful during the slump when you're like, well, I know I actually like doing this, so thus, I know this is a slump. Therefore, I know I don't have to question very hard whether I still like this or not. Like, I'll ask the question to myself, but I'm like, no, I know I like doing this. I just know this is a slump. Like, it's self-awareness. Self-psychology stuff is really helpful. Yeah, the goatsy joke. There's a lot of garbage stuff I've done when I was younger. When I was younger, I was a real dick when it came to trying to be funny. Like, I'm not saying, like, everything I made ever was garbage, but, like, I think it's... I don't ever want to, like, stand up for younger me, because I know younger me just was very ignorant to a lot of the world. And thank goodness I've gotten to know a lot more people from a lot more walks of life to like, you know, humanize a lot more stuff, and I've come to accept the positivity of empathy more. It just makes, I don't know, it makes me happier with trying to be funny too. Anyway, I'm figuring out reasons to keep dragging on when I've like 3 times said I really got to take a break. So I really got to take a break. But let's keep up. Let's keep doing stuff, and hopefully I will have that Fans Toys thing done up friggin' finally and get it out of my friggin' house. But then I'm hoping to do a little update vlog and some other stuff. So I will talk to y'all later. Thanks for chilling out. Thanks for, especially those of you saying you've been around for a super long time. Thank you so much for still sticking around. And, oh, a stream I'll do. I want to do a stream where I watch my first 10 reviews I ever made and kind of like talk through them. I still got to do that. So I'm going to try to figure out the setup for OBS for that over on the desktop. And then, I don't know, maybe we'll do that sometime. But, yeah. Oh, also, I want to do some Extra Life streaming. Hitman 2 is almost out. I really want to stream that for Extra Life. And then if I can set up a way to stream playing some cards, I would like to invite some friends over and try to figure out how to do a little stream of some TCGing as well. But that's all stuff in my head. I'm saying it out loud now so I don't forget it. And then I'm saying it on a stream so that like I can be held accountable. So anyway, have a good night everyone, and keep flipping your cards!